Good evening, and once again, we are returning. It's the Radical Sim Racing Endurance Round 1 live from Spa-Francorchamps circuit in the hills of Belgium. And you are in for an absolute treat of a race as we see new rule changes, new drivers, new teams. Lots of things have happened to the Radical Sim Racing Endurance over the last season. So we have got myself, James Parfitt, and Daan Pepels on commentary duty, and we were going to bring you all the action this evening using iRacing, the world's premier simulator, broadcast on the JPB YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you are here, subscribe, thumbs up, and turn on the bells for notifications, because you're not going to want to miss any of the action we are going to bring you this evening. And now, as always, we're going to bring Daan Pepels into the booth with me. Daan, how are you this evening, young sir?
Good evening, James. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing very, very well. Once again, back with the Radical Endurance series, and yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I am as well. We've got 90 minutes of radical action, but what we have got is a different format as well. We've got 30 minutes open quali this evening, followed by a 90-minute race. So there's a lot going to happen in qualifying, Dan, because these drivers have got to try and find gaps on the track. It is an open quali.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I like those changes because now we're going to see them twice as long, because last year, remember, was 15 minutes and they limited to a couple of laps, but now we're going to see them run around the track as close to the limits as possible in a light car for twice as long. So yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, absolutely amazing change to that one. So what other changes have we got? Well, Dan, setups have gone to open setups. They are not fixed. They are open setups now as well. There's no regulations on pit stops. If you remember last season, we had they had to do 2 pit stops. There is no regulations on pit stops now. They can do 1, they can do 2, they can do 3 if they really want to, but there is no regulations on pit stops. Tyre changing and fueling, again, there's no regulations on tyre changes or fueling. They do not have to change tyres or fuel, but we are expecting them to have to do that due to the fact, Dan, the SR10 is currently eating tyres like it is at McDonald's shoving down a Big Mac meal.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
Yeah, well, I've had a chat with a couple of drivers that are racing currently, and yeah, some of them like the car, some of them like the SR10 more than the SR8. But what all drivers say and what all drivers' opinions have in common is that this car eats tires for breakfast. It's yeah, it's something that we're gonna have to watch out for, and maybe we'll see some interesting strategies with the tires this evening.
Exactly, and also as well, one of the other things that have changed, we have gone from, they had 3 fast repairs last season, they've gone down to 1. And the incident limit has changed as well. There was 24 incident limit before they've got a penalty. They are now down to 15. And then it's a drive-through penalty every 15 incidents. Now, the schedule itself, we are going to stretch across the 2 iRacing seasons. So the schedule currently, as it is set at the moment, is basically we are here today at Spa. In 2 weeks' time, on October the 2nd, we're going down to Interlagos. October the 16th, we'll go to Watkins Glen Boot. October the 30th, we'll go to Fuji International Speedway. Now, we're going to finish out the first half of the season at November the 13th at Monza. Now, once the 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10 tracks have been released for the following season, we will then go over and define when the tracks and what tracks we're going to run from round 6. But currently at round 5 at the moment, the season there will be November the 13th, and we will be at Monza. Now, there's some great tracks in there that first half of the season. I can't physically wait for the second half, because I think some of the tracks and options that they've got is just going to be absolutely incredible, Dan. But, you know, Interlagos, Watkins Glen Boot as well with the chicane, Fuji and Monza, they're all just amazing circuits.
Yeah, if you look at the calendar, it's just stacked with some amazing tracks, and tracks that we've in the past seen provide us with some amazing and some very close racing. So yeah, definitely excited to run over the calendar. But yeah, Spa a track today, because you pointed on the incident limit, a track that is notorious for its off track. So the drivers are gonna have to watch that this evening.
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm going to mention to you all now, and this is one of the major changes in the Radical Sim Racing Endurance Series, is we have got two classes this evening. We have got pros and we have got AMs. We currently have 14 pros on track, and we've currently got 12 AMs. Now, there were 32 drivers registered. We know a couple of can't make it. So we are going to currently have 26 cars on track at the moment. If quali is ended, they are no longer able to get into the session. So if anybody is a late entry, they want to take part, they're going to have to do it right now and get in before quali has ended. So we've got pro and AMs, Dan. That's just going to bring a complete different dimension to this series tonight, isn't it? Because 90 minutes... they're going to, obviously, at some point, someone somewhere is going to be lapped. But it's that feeling of AMs and pros, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we've seen it in sprint races, pro and am classes, but in a series that has races that are 90 minutes long, it really comes to its own, because the gap between a pro and an am driver, the longer the race goes on, the bigger that gap becomes. So in an endurance series like this, a pro and am class really comes to its own.
Yeah, absolutely, because, you know, it is, as I say, they're going to, at some point, I would have thought, be lapping people. So it's going to be incredible. So stay tuned, and don't forget as well, you know, guys, you've got to sit back and just thoroughly enjoy this one, because this is going to be an incredible night of racing. So there we go. So make sure you stay tuned and hit the thumbs up, turn on the bells, and you know, don't forget to subscribe as well. Sorry about that screen popping up. I did set that up to go on to the second screen, but clearly it didn't want to. But let's switch over now as we head down, coming towards the last 2.5 minutes of practice. And we've got some new drivers in the series this season, and there's quite a few new drivers in the series, and I've got to be honest, you know, Marnix Heister is back in. He's going to be here from the beginning, hopefully. Henning Haig is another new one as well. Mathiasen is new. We got Rudolf Nagao is a new pro into the season as well. Byron Crawford, another new one. Lucas Dozer as well. And then we've got the returning drivers of Alphonse Ruiz, Damien G, Gary Truebury, of course, our very own league owner, Sandra Capella. Guy Robinson has returned, David Rolliston, Nia Gluskick, Paul Clark. There's loads going on in this season. Glenn Anders, Andre Christensen, welcome in, my man. Much love to you. Thank you so much as well for coming along here this evening. It's going to be an absolute incredible evening of racing. Faceless Art as well, go Team Slow-Mo, so we will keep an eye on that one. But it's going to be, oh damn, this evening is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, well, with the regulation changes, the thing or the trend that I've noticed there is that the drivers have just got more freedom to do what they want, and I think that's amazing, because that opens up every possible strategy to them. And well, in an endurance race, normally after the first hour, you really start to look at your strategy. And I think the way that they've got that freedom, it really opens up for yeah, just an amazing race within the race, if you of course get what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely, because at the end of the day, there's a lot more things that these guys are going to have to do. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things. I think at the end of the day, you know, they've got to, there's going to be a lot going on with these guys tonight. And I think that one of the things they've got to be careful of is obviously managing their tyres, which we know is going to be tough because it eats tyres, and we know that. And they've got to manage the traffic, because they are going to end up managing coming across traffic partly because of the fact that it's just the way the series is going to end up going, because, you know, that's the way it's going to happen. And I think they've got to do a lot more management side of things in this series than they previously probably would do. And they've just got to be careful, I think, all the way through. So we have come in to qualifying now. As I say, we have got a 30-minute qualifying session, and it is open. Now, you know, at the end of the day, open quali in general is always going to be tough. For these guys, it's going to be even tougher now, because there's got currently 26 cars on track. And I think at the end of the day, they're all just, down, to be honest, they're going to have to be careful. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it's got to be. And I think they're going to, how can I put it? I think they've really got to manage what's going on in front of them currently at the moment.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes of qualifying, but the thing that's different from last season is the regulations are not really made to give everyone free track, so they have to do and find that space on their own right now. So yeah, it's something to keep an eye on for the drivers, but it's something that's going to be interesting on a quick lap for us as well.
Yeah, as well, Mr. Adam Hedgecott, welcome in. Good evening to you. We are starting off on a little bit of a driver focus currently, as we can see here. Paul LeMay. Now, Paul LeMay and his brother Michael are in as well. They're currently racing for Two Brothers Racing Team. Now, Paul, we've got some information on the drivers as well. Now, Paul's only been racing for 2 years in sim racing. Okay, so Paul has been racing for 2 years. Now, we asked him a couple of questions. Biggest inspiration in motorsport. Now, Paul LeMay come back with Mick Doohan, who obviously, as we know, drive bikes, and Frank Williams, the ex-team manager, unfortunately for him as well. He was team manager of the Williams team for quite a long while. Now, one of the other things we mentioned about asked the drivers as well, greatest achievement in sim racing or real life. Now, Paul's greatest achievement, I think, kind of is something that you wouldn't necessarily expect, but his greatest achievement is the Radical Racing Challenge 2021 Division 4 Season 2 winner. Now, he's obviously gone out and done the job there as well, but that's a little bit of background information on Paul LeMay there as well, who we're currently seeing on track. Dan, from our perspective here, you know, we're going over to a 30-minute qualifying session. What would you do in this situation? Because obviously everybody's different, aren't they, the way they run their quali? And I think, you know, some have gone out now, others are going to hang back, I think. But saying that, the majority are out on track at the moment.
Yeah, well, if it was me, I would go out immediately, because there's a reason I'm sitting here in the commentary booth. I'm not the quickest driver, so I could use every lap that I get, and maybe in those 30 minutes I would maybe get a one-lap wonder and put myself up to pole position, you know. But yeah, I would use every possible minute of this qualifying session.
Yeah, mate, you and me both. I don't think I could sit back and waste time on this. I think I would need to be out and practicing, getting my eye in, trying to get quality, because we know Spa is very tight on track limits, right? And
yeah,
you know, it's so easy to get a off track. So they've got to kind of weigh up the pros and cons of quali as well. I think one of the main things I would be looking at is getting a banker lap in and then working on from there, I think.
yeah. It's I always say I'm going to do a banker lap, but halfway through that banker lap, I always find myself pushing like it's the last lap I've got. And it's a bad thing, I know that, but I just can't change it. If I go into qualifying, I'm also really bad with getting into the zone. With qualifying, it's really, really different than it is in the race. In the race, you do lap after lap after lap, but in qualifying, it is basically quick fire. So you want the car as light as possible, maybe do 2 laps at a run. So you need to get in the zone really, really quickly. And for me, that does take that does take some time, and it is something that these drivers have to take into account as well, maybe. But yeah, it's really difficult to get into that zone for me sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you see here we've got Rudolf Nagel, who's from the Simracing team, currently setting the fastest lap of the race at a 2:09.495. Now we do think that is going to be round about where the drivers need to be for this, Dan, don't they? We were discussing it off stream earlier on. We said sort of 2:09, 2:10 probably will be in the top 10 to 15 really, and I think Rudolph's kind of gone out and gone, well guys, here we go. You've got a 2:09.50 to beat. Crack on.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, if that is a banker lap, that is a really quick one. I expected it to be in the low 2:09s, maybe a high 2:08, but yeah, let me tell you, that's already a really quick first lap.
Yeah, absolutely as well. We've got Paul Clark from iLounge Racing, one of the sponsors here today as well. So iLounge Racing are currently, they supply motorsport simulators for home. They can go and basically they have sims on demo that range from £3,000 to £100,000. So there is some maximum sim there, and customers can go in to try the various options, and then they will be able to spec to order as well. So iLounge Racing there as well, supplying £100,000, mate. £100,000 for a sim rig. Not quite sure.
Wow.
I could have, you know, I definitely cannot afford to do that.
You could buy a proper car for that money.
Yeah, exactly. If you head over to iLoungeRacing.co.uk, you will see all the options there as well. Glenn Andre Christensen, that is one bias list, my sir. Marnix, Matthijssen, Haig, obviously biased. You know, of course you are. Literally a bias there as well. Currently, the Nagel is leading the pros and LeMay is leading the AMs. So if you have missed it as well, we have got AMs and pros in the series. Don't forget, guys, if you are here as well, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe and turn on the bells for notifications, and then you will be up to date when all of JPB brings you racing. We've got Radical Racing, we've got MX5 Racing, we've got GT3 Racing, we've got Ovals coming up shortly as well. So the list is non-stop. Racing and happening here on the JPB YouTube channel as well. So you're not going to want to miss any of this action, guys. So please give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe and turn on the bells. That would be absolutely amazing. What are we thinking though, Dan, strategy-wise? You know, because it really is a tough way to call this, isn't it? Because, you know, there's so much going on. There's so much happening in the race. You know, we've just jumped on board with Platinum Racing teams. Marnik Heister joined in the team by Ivan Bramer, 2 pros this season as well. Marnik's currently on a 2:10.26. There's his teammate Ivan Bramer there on the right-hand side, just on the right-hand side as you're looking at the screen, of course. You know, for some of the new drivers into the series as well, this whole concept of 90 minutes endurance is just a completely new thing to them. Not necessarily been in this sort of position before. You know, what do you think they've got to try and like almost get their brain into gear, haven't they, really?
Oh, that is an off there, I think, for Marnix Heister. That's not what he would have wanted.
No.
But yeah, it's just settle in. Don't make any stupid moves like just drive into someone. Of course, these things can happen. Hardware issues can occur, but don't do it something like that on purpose. That won't be accepted anywhere, I think. So, but yeah, just settle in and try and keep it clean and go from there. I think the first 20-25 minutes from the race or of the race will be crucial for those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Hedgecock, having issues with your left and right tonight, Jay. Well, it's a difficult one, mate, because 1 minute I could say you're looking at the screen, he's on your right. Next, you know, the camera changes and he's on the left. So, you know, give me a break tonight. Mr. Hedgecock there jumping on me already. I don't really like that. You know what I mean, you bully. Oh dear. Milo Gamer, now that's a nice livery. We're talking about Daniel Sedgley's livery here because that's who currently we are on board with as well. Daniel currently sitting in 6th place as the wonderful world of, updates kick in halfway through. Daniel says he goes into 2nd on a 2:09.55. Now I want to try and pick up on this man down at the bottom, Mr. John McHutchison.
There he is.
Last season's champion. Didn't think he was going to make tonight. There was a message he put out earlier saying, I'm not going to make it, I won't be there. But he has managed to get up on track. So that currently gives us 27 cars on circuit this evening as well. So we've got 27 cars currently on track for you in a 90-minute endurance of Pro and Ams. Now, if that doesn't make your mouth water as much as mine is currently, you're watching the wrong broadcast, guys. You know what I mean? Go and sit back and I don't know, watch EastEnders or some other random cooking show or something, because if you're not here for the fact that your mouth is watering at 90 minutes endurance with 27 cars of Ams and Pros, you're definitely not going to want to be sitting here listening to me and Dan for the next hour and a half, I'll tell you that one. But all I will say though, guys, as well, while you are here, you might as well subscribe, you might as well thumbs up, and you might as well turn on the bells, because I'll tell you one thing, it's completely free, so you don't even have to pay for any of it. As you can see here with John McHutchison currently waiting to get a time on the board, currently haven't got a time, struggling with Oz Tracks at the moment. I've got him currently on 6. So we'll have to keep an eye on what John can do. But Paul Crabb is in this season as well. You can see Paul Crabb there as we go to him and he pulls over. That is just what we call typical. And Mike Bousson. Now, obviously, we've got a lot of teams in tonight as well. So we've got Team Radline, which consists of Mike Bousson, John McHutchison, Steve Place. They're all from Team Radline. We've got Team Slow-Mo as well with Taj Satahag. Dan, help me out.
Difficult name.
Difficult name, yeah.
I couldn't do it any better.
No, and Henning Herg or Henning Haig. Let me know, Glenn. You're Norwegian. Help me out here, brother. And then we've got Matteson as well from Team Slow-Mo. We've got IGL Coatings with Ketil Larsen there as well. And obviously we've got two brothers racing of Paul LeMay and Michael LeMay. Platinum Racing Team, Marnix Heister, Ivan Bramer as well. And David Rolliston is in the Tiger Team this season. And then we got Alphonse Ruiz, the sole representative from my HRT, Hopping Rabbits, Hormone Replacement Therapy, whatever we want to call them. Alphonse Ruiz represents them as well. Gary Truby, and then we got Damien G from BSR. Then we got Nia Gluskic and Daniele Cascado. They are from Team Made. So there's a lot going on this season, isn't it? It's just kind of this series itself has just grown exponentially.
Yeah, it's really great to see, James. And well, I've spoken to some of the drivers, and well, I don't know if you had a chat with some of the drivers.
I always talk to these guys.
Some really seem to like the SR10, and some are better in the SR10 than they were in the SR8, and some are better in the SR8 than in the SR10. So I'm really looking forward to see what John McHutchison can do, because knowing him, he's quick in any car, not only in the SR8 or in the SR10. But yeah, looking forward to see what he can do. Maybe it is going to be a little bit closer, that he can't find his way as well with the SR10 that he did with the SR8. It's just a preference that every driver has. But yeah, I've definitely spoken to some drivers that have said that the SR10 is more for them.
Yeah, exactly. So we got some translations. Glenn Andre Christensen has been in translating things. So we've got Terje. I believe that is for our 13th, 14th place man currently overall. Finish Henry Haig's name like a Canadian. Hager. Is that right? Yes. We're butchering the names as well. Glenn, it's not going well. I've got to be honest. I sound like I'm just getting it all completely wrong. Maybe I'll try phonics and like I'd learned at school and just come out with that and see what we can do. But it's all right. We've got our very own, Dan Pepels who can magic a name out of nowhere. So, there you go, Dan. No pressure tonight, mate. You got to get him right. Oh dear, what an absolute, going to be a manic evening. I can just see it now as well, and I think it's just going to be, well, one of them evenings, Dan, I think we can going to go away with from here and just be like, wow, because I think that's what we're in for. I think, to be honest, this could probably go down to the last lap, if not, you know, the last corner. It's such a strong field.
Yeah, and you said last corner. Now at Spa, we're going to see at the moment Brown coming up to the last corner. This is the bus stop, so if there's a better last corner than this to try and overtake someone, let me know. But I do think that the bus stop is one of the best last corner, all or nothing move possible opportunity.
Yeah, I think with the fact that you got 5 sectors here at Spa, I think, to be fair, there's opportunities, real main opportunities now. As I was broadcast yesterday, and literally it was El Rouge, Radion, Kemmel, Lacombe.
Everywhere, just everywhere.
No, that was the passes up here, literally, and then we had Blanchimont on the last corner. And I think we're not going to be in for anything different, I don't think, this evening, because it's just going to be an incredible evening of racing. We're going to jump on to the roll bar of Graham Brown here as well. The Scotsman in the arms is currently going on the drop down into Rivage currently at the moment. As we see the run, it's worth almost looking at this point of view, Dan, because I think some people don't quite get how kind of overly tricky this car is to drive. I've driven it myself, and unfortunately my first real main experience of it was Nordschleife. Now, yeah, I know, don't. If I was ever going to jump into a car, probably Nordschleife shouldn't have been my best place to take it out and practice with it, I've got to be honest. But I found it's a lot more stable after the updates and stuff that they brought into it, but it just almost feels like it wants to understeer every single time. And like looking at the Graham Brown here, as we go around Paul Ferrer, he literally, look at the lock he's got on that wheel to try and get that car to turn. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say something, and I might be hated by the whole radical racing community here, but I bought the car like an hour ago.
Oh.
And this might not age well, but yeah, that's the case.
Oh, well, there you go. The car really punishes over-driving without actually running you off the track. See, Faceless, I think, now, that's a difficult one to really come up with, because when you've come from the SR8 and you've got my incredible heavy right foot that literally has got a brick on top of it, this car does not suit me. Like, no way. You know, for me to try and be gentle and not lock the wheels up and not really drive the car like I want to drive the car drives me crazy, because I want to be quick on the gas, I want to be late on the brakes, I want to be all of these things, and this car just doesn't allow you to do that.
Well, I did have a go in the Formula 1 car that is in iRacing, and let me tell you, if you can't handle the radical, the F1 car is also nothing for you.
No.
Because I've had to go in the SR8, I've done numerous races in it, but yeah, like you said, it really punishes overdriving without actually running you off track, because when you overdrive, you actually get slower than when you just drive clean and with safe lines.
But I found as well that your extension of your braking point is by about 10 meters. You know, Faceless has just said it's certainly not as easy to chuck into corners as some would like. No, it's not. No. And I think, you know, we can see that right visually by looking at some of the locks that we've got going on. You know, John McHutchison's just jumped up into 11th place. But if we can have a look over the roll bar of what John is doing, you can see that the lock-wise is not what you would kind of expect. You know, the second part of Vanier is nice and easy, but it'll be round the next section where you're going to see him kind of really kind of getting the car. He wants that car to turn. He's had to make corrections through each corner. You know, we're going left, we're going right, we're going left, we're going right, to try and get it to move. And it's not everybody's cup of tea.
It definitely does look like a really, really difficult car to drive, but at the moment, Rudolf Nagel, at the moment, he is in P1 with 208.9. that changed a really, really quick lap time.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, you know, that the 5.1k I rating might have something to do with that. You know, I can't express to you guys how much stronger this field has got. You know, we've got nobody below 1.8k here in the race. Everybody is above 1.8, and I think that's where, it's really shown what this series has become and how much more popular it has got, because of the fact that the drivers are not below 1.8. You know, Paul Crabb 4.4, John McHutchison 6.4, Rudolf Nagel 5.1, Daniel Sedgley 4.8, Larson on 4.4. You know, there are no slouches in this car. You know, and I think at the end of the day, it just leads to and breeds the amount of quality racing that we're going to have.
Yeah. Well, iRating, as I always see it, iRating is an average of the normally overall cars. But if let's say Rudolf Nagel has an iRating of 5.1, but he could actually be, if he only drives this car, or if this is his best car, he could actually be 7k, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So if iRating is something to go off, then yes, this is a really strong field. But also the guys that are 1.8k could also be really, really quick in this car.
Yeah, absolutely as well. See Henning Hay come in to the final sector. He's had 3 greens currently. He did get yellow in sector 4. And what's he going to get across the last sector? He is green again. Currently in 7th on a 209. He goes second on a 209.11. Henning Haig absolutely barnstorming, just popped it in to second place. That is incredible. Face Lazar, it will also help you learn to use gentle oversteer on corner exit. It takes commitment. Well, considering I'm in the booth next week for 9 races, I don't really feel I've got much commitment to the XR10, Faceless, I've got to be honest. So I've got a funny feeling that I may still struggle, but come next week. But Henning Haig done an absolutely stellar time there of a 209.11.
He was actually purple in the last sector there.
He was, yeah. So we've got Daniel Walters has been off track. Let's have a look. I believe he's probably run wide on turn 1. He has. We will keep an eye on the off tracks tonight, guys, as well. We do have the off track counter. The only thing we do not have is the contact counter. It doesn't give us any of the information on contact, so we will try and bring you up the accurate scores, but they might not be also. You know, don't forget these drivers as well get a point for pole position. They get a point for the fastest lap. They get safe driver points as well. So, you know, there's extra there that these drivers are able to gain. And, you know, if you've got 1 point for pole, 1 point for the fastest lap, and you go for a whole clean race, which, don't get me wrong, it is Spa. We're not really, you know, expecting a complete clean race. But if you do 0 incidents, you get an extra 5 points. 1 to 3 incidents, you get 3 points. 4 to 7, you get 1. Is there any more than 7? You don't get any extra points. You've got to be careful. Most people have some sort of commitment issues. They do. I'm sure they do, somewhere along the lines. I'm sure there's plenty of men out there that do drive their young ladies crazy with the no commitment issues as well. So there we go. Don't forget, guys, give it a big old thumbs up this evening as well. If you like the broadcast, don't forget to hit subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the bells for notifications, because next week, starting off on Tuesday, we've got MX5 for the UK Sim Racers here tonight. Next Tuesday on the 20th of September. Then we got the Next Gen GT3 series on Wednesday. Another Radical Race series on Thursday, guys, as well. And then we're back here for Radical Sim Racing with their European Sprint 2 races. And then we go over, and then later on in the evening, we have the Radical Sim Racing Sprint Americas series, which is the start of their new World Cup format. On Saturday, then we have the round 1 and 2 of the UTC touring car as well. So there's definitely a lot going on that you can get your teeth into this week if you want to watch racing on any of them nights, from MX-5s, GT3s, Radicals, touring cars, and a new World Cup format brought to you here live on the JPB YouTube channel. Now, you can see the colours on your screen. One of the things, obviously, I think you've probably picked up on your own, but I will run through with it. AMs are in blue, pros are in yellow. So it's the same on the track map as well. So currently you can see the majority of the cars on track are pros, and there are a few AMs as well. Sandra Capella, our very own boss, league owner, confidant of the Radical Sim Racing, has put this whole thing together, has done an absolute stellar job. Currently in 22nd overall, 7th in class there, Dan. You know, the AM, I don't want to be detrimental and say that the AMs are slower, but at the same time, they're not slower because there's still some good drivers who can mix it up there.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple of times, not only in this series, but generally in every series that you watch, that usually there are a couple of AM drivers that get up there with the top pro drivers and mix them with, I just get in the mix with them. And yeah, generally an AM driver doesn't define you to be slow. They're really, really quick as well. And if I look at the I ratings and the lowest is 1.8k, then compared to me, everyone is really quick here.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Let's not forget they are all quick. You know, the split for the AMs and the pros, the final person in the AMs is the 2.6 in the pro. Sorry, is over 2.6k.
Yeah, but talking about the AMs, James, in the AM pole position at the moment is a man we talked about briefly in the free practice session, Paul LeMay. He is at the moment 3/10 clear of P2 in the AM class. So yeah, looks like he's really dominant as we see. He was that Marnix Heister, I think, that was off there. He was on a really quick lap time as well. So that would not have been ideal for Marnix Heister. He's in 10th at the moment. Looks like he's gone off. Yes, he did in Curve Pool Frere. Here we have it. Marnix Heister on a quick lap time, just touching the gravel, and that's the car gone. Nothing you can do there, James.
No, he's done and dusted there, unfortunately for Marnix, so he'll have to go back and reset. Guy Robinson has also been running off track at the same time. Let us know, guys, who you think is gonna win. Now, I'm gonna whack a poll up in chat. And then you can say who you think will win. Now, the question is, who are we going to put in the poll? I think.
Let's say, James, the top 4 of qualifying, because we do not have championship standings to go off, of course, in race 1 here. So I think the top 4 of qualifying, because you can only put 4 people in, I think. I think that's the most, justifiable way of doing it.
All right, so we've put a poll up there, guys, as well, and you can vote on who you think's gonna win. Now, obviously, we've only got 4. If you feel there is anybody else that you think could come through and take the position of victory this evening, just drop it in the chat below, and we will take that into consideration. But the poll is up and ready to go for anybody who wants to have a good old vote on who do they think will win. So get your votes in now. It is up on screen. Currently Nagao on a 208.902. John Sylvester Super F-150 Ford. I'm sure that's a name. Good evening. Good evening to you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a fabulous evening this evening. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Thank you very much for that. Now we're coming into the last 1:14 of quali. Rudolf Nagao is back on track. Henning Haig is back on track as well. Mathiasen, he's given me permission to call him that because we had this discussion last season about his name. And David Walters from the Tiger team. Now, I haven't seen much of David this year. He's running a little bit more of a top-heavy livery in his eyes because last year he literally ran a white car with a few logos on. And Damien G, our good old Damien G, is here as well. Damien, you know, did you eat? Have you eaten? Because I know that's obviously your
Yeah.
nightly ritual. You know, I think I did have a conversation earlier with Damien who turned around and said he was a little bit nervous for tonight, so he couldn't stomach food. So it'd be interesting to see if he did. He did turn around and say he had a burger earlier, which was a bit more advanced than what, you know, he is normally. But he had a burger at lunch apparently. But Damien is our very own residential food man who always messages me and just lets me know what he's having for dinner that night before the race. And generally there's some form of takeout going on. Damien G, welcome in. Thank you so much. I will say one thing though, young sir. Aren't you supposed to be on the track? Because you know, you've got qualifying to do. As we come to the end of quali, that has wrapped up the first 30 minutes qualifying session here in the Radical Sim Racing Endurance Championship. We will bring you all the times up shortly and bring you the grid. We're going to have a go. I would say, Dan, you might want to have a go at speed reading this one. I believe these guys may get onto the track fairly swiftly. And if they do that, taking your time ain't going to work, young sir.
Yeah.
As we found out from last Tuesday, Dan, where you took a big deep breath and did 20 people in about 10, what was it? It wasn't even 10 seconds, was it? It was like speed reading one of the grids in about 5 seconds.
Think so. Ready for a world record then.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
different people in 5 seconds. Can we do it?
Well, good luck, mate. You got 27 to get through. So, you know, let's see what we can do when the results come up. James, did you race with GLSR once upon a time? GLSR? Help me out. I haven't. Now, are you talking a league race, a radical race, or a different series race? You have to give me more information. I've taken part in a couple, mate. But really, since I've started up the broadcasting company and my league racing has gone very limited. So let me know. Green light sim racing? No, I can honestly say, John, I've never heard of that, mate, and I'm sorry. Do you? Am I familiar to you? I do like to think that, you know, I'm getting out superstar stardom, John. You know, somebody somewhere will ask me for my autograph at some point, I'm sure. Just hasn't happened to me yet. And it didn't happen to me out in Bath either today. I managed to walk around quite happily. I didn't get swamped with a load of autograph hunters. So I'm guessing I'm not quite as famous as I thought, Dan.
Well, let me tell you what. I think we're all one of the most famous people on this earth. For ourselves, at least.
At least, yeah. Somebody somewhere, though, there is a doppelganger of us going out somewhere.
Yeah.
Your voices. Oh, thanks, John. I'm not sure, mate, unless you've heard me and come across me in, I don't know, an official or maybe because, you know, I don't know, or another broadcast, maybe. I'm not sure, John. I'm not sure. I do have one of them, you know, recognizable voices. So we will still sitting patiently waiting for the results to come through. They haven't been advanced through to us yet. So as soon as they do, we will bring them up. So we're here at Spa, 6.93 kilometers in length. Now, I did get told the other day that information is not correct because apparently it's 7.1.
No, I think it's 7.01, actually.
Well, I'm just going by what information we're given. Which obviously feeds off iRacing. So if iRacing are listed at 6.93, what do we do?
You know what it is, James? They have just taken a really short line, so I think we do have the results for us now.
We do. So there we go, Dan. Over to you.
Go, Dan. Rudolf Nagel takes pole position in the pro class. Henrik Haig alongside him. Lucas Dolzer in P3. Getzel Larsen in P4. Daniel Sedgley P5. That name is difficult. Anvik in P6. David Walters P7. John McHutchison in P8. Mike Boos on P9. Marnix Heister P10. Paul Crabb in P11. Paul LeMay takes the pole position in the AM class. Daniele Cascado. Never mind. Steve Place. There. That's where we left off at P13. Yeah. 14. Paul Clark. 15. Difficult name. Can you help me with that, James?
Taya.
Taya.
Yep. That's the first name.
Michael LeMay. Might be related to the man in pole position. In 16, Daniel Cascado, P17, 18, Ivan Bremer, 19, Byron Crawford, Alphonse Ruiz in P20, 21st is David Rolston, P22, Sandro Capello, P23, Gary Truby, P24, Nihat Glusic, Creamy Brown in P25, Damien G in P26, and Kai Robertson in P27. I hope that was quick enough.
Well, I think we all need to give Dan a big old round of applause for having a good old go at trying to get them names done there. And what there are some tricky names in there as well. So good, well done, Dan. Good job to you, young sir.
It's always difficult the first race of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the interesting thing is, Dan, you managed to get it done. So the red lights are coming on. We've got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 5. And the new season of the Radical Endurance Series, Radical Sim Racing, is green. Go, go, go here tonight. And currently Rudolf Nagel is out in front. Lucas Dozer has managed to get up into second place. Oh, there's a massive crash. Massive. Look at the background. There is cars everywhere. We will bring you the restart as soon as we can see when everybody settles down. But I can tell you now, there is absolutely huge. Marnik Heister, Henning Haig, Paul Clark, Paul LeMay, Michael LeMay, Alphonse Ruiz, Nihat Glusic, Graham Brown, Sancho Capella, John McHutchinson off the track as well. Daniel Sedgley went off track at the same time, so that has been absolutely incredible. But this man, Rudolf Nagel, has managed to get out in pole position and currently leading us away. That was huge, and I think we're going to need to have another look back at that one very shortly, Dan, because that just looked unbelievably massive. And it started off, by the looks of it, with Marnik Heister here as well. So we will go on board with the JPB chopper.
He gets a really bad start. I think that's Henning Haig a really bad start.
Yeah, and then it kind of all goes wrong. Round down here in the middle of the field, and there's Marnix in front spinning, and everybody else, look, Paul LeMay, Michael LeMay, all gone and tried to get round, and then it just went wrong. Poor Marnik Heister is on his way down the hill. We did have a second incident as well that we will try and keep an eye on as he goes up through El Rouge and Radion. It looks like, does he have another go? Oh, Marnix is
really loose.
Oh, dearie me. Poor Marnix looks like Bambi on ice as he goes past one of the Lolomay.
Yeah.
Because he's got Paul Clark there as well, coming into Lagoon and just goes in deep. Oh, it goes in so deep. He went down further than a deep sea diver trying to set a world record then, unfortunately for him. And that is a lot of chaos there as well, right at the beginning. Now we have got a mixture of yellow cars from Team Slow-Mo as well. Mateusen there, then we've got Radline, Paul, Mike Bousson, Paul Crabb, Stephen Place, and the Platinum Racing there. All the guys seem to have gone for yellow this year. And Dan, and that's not going to bring too much confusion at the same time, is it?
Well, it looks like they're not too similar to each other, but yeah, a lot of yellow on the grid this year. That suits well to the pro license.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I think it looks good, but I think they're kind of forgetting we've still got an hour and 27 minutes left of racing, Dan. It's not like a sprint, and already we've had complete and utter carnage. You know, Marnik Heister is in the pits. He's got to get towed anyway, but they do have a fast repair, don't forget.
Oh, I heard another spin, I think, there.
Yeah. I'm going to try and fish through who we think that might be, but nobody's sliding down the order, so unless somebody really severely locked up then. But this is the battle for 10th currently with Daniele Cascado chasing down David Walters. And you can see it now, Nagel is leading the pros, Cascado is leading the AMs. He did look like John McHutchinson just went through then from Team Radline. So that is John McHutchinson through. Not so sure why his livery is completely and utterly different to the one that's on the bottom of the screen. I will have a quick refresh and hopefully that will resolve the issue. But Ivan Bramer here from Platinum Racing Team currently mixing up in 7th place. Now look at these gainers. Ivan Bramer up 11. Wow, those are down 10. Larson down 12. Haig down 17 places. That is a loss and a half there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that it was Henrik Haig who's lost 17 positions. He had a really bad start going into turn 1. He got all out of shape, I think, as well. So basically, from his starting spot to the first corner, I think was wasn't the best start for him.
No, absolutely not. And we've got the red line guys in the middle. There is Lucas Dozer from Simracing. Currently here, car number 75, sitting at the back currently well, he's not at the back, he's in 13th place. But however, he is down 10 positions. So he's got a fight on his hand there, Dan, and I think it's going to be a tough one. 1:25 on the clock. You know, he's looking already at about a 10-second gap to the leader. And it just seems like it's all just unfolding around his ears, and there's not a lot he can do about it.
Yeah, it's that John McCutcheon maybe the slowdown from Eau Rouge going really slow. So that's another free position gained for Lucas Dolzer. But yeah, he's got to have his work cut out. He goes wide at Lecombe on the entry. That won't help him. A little bit too hot going into it. Luckily, he stays ahead of Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford is chasing him down though, as he's looking at taking a different line into Rivage. And then going off now through No Name, the left-hander that we have seen, that can provide a wonderful world of off-tracks if you go too wide on the right-hand side. So they are going to have to be careful on this run down into Pouon. Ivan Bramer, however, has got Paul Crabb climbing all over the back of him, with Terrier behind him in 8th place. See me? I got that right this time. Good evening, Carpet. Hope you're well, young sir. Thank you so much for joining in. Don't forget thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the bells for notifications. So that's always going to be important. Where would you, though, because Paul Clark, right? Paul currently down.
Out of the lead, James, I think. And he's setting up at P1.
Sedgley over Rudolph Nagao. And we're going to have a look back at that and find out where that happened on track. Here we go down into Lacoon. We did say it's going to be one of the major places tonight. I think Daniel Sedgley just wraps it up well early before the braking zone and gets the job done. So that is Daniel Sedgley leading this off, isn't it? But we've got the likes of Paul Clark. Well, oh!
Massive crash again into Lecombe, all out of shape there.
Damien G. Damien,
all out of shape, James.
Damien G from BSR. Here we go.
Did he get held? I think he did.
Oh, there was contact behind.
That car looks battered.
Absolutely, and that was, oh, I'm trying to find who that specific car was there, and I tell you how I'm going to be able to tell you who that was. One of the slow-mo drivers, number 79, that was Henning Haig. Haig was involved with that incident, and that's put Damien G, well, down the order. Ivan Bramer as well has just gained there as well. He's currently up 11 in 7th place at the moment, in front of Terrier and behind Paul Crabb. So Ivan Bramer has got a lot of work on his hands at the moment. Lucas Dozer, look at this gaggle of cars here. David Walters, Lucas Dozer, Byron Crawford, John McCutcheon and Ketil Larson within this small pack, and all chasing down poor old David Walters from Tiger Team there. Is, well, he's not really the man on the hunt, is he? He's the being hunted.
Normally, like you said, it's the Tiger doing the hunting, but at the moment he has to defend himself from Dolzer, and is he going to be able to do so? I don't think he's close enough for a move into the PIF path, but yeah, looks like he's going to have to defend. He's having his work cut out at the moment for him.
Yeah, he definitely has. Paul, the problem is, Dan, as we've seen it before, when you're defending as much as David Walters currently is, you're not really making progress forward.
No.
So he's going to have to really try and make his way forward there more than he is coming backwards. However, Ivan Bramer has got Terrier right up beside him, and Terrier goes through. If you're wondering why we're calling him Terrier, we're not trying to say his second name. If you look at it yourself, you can physically understand why us commentators are staying away from Terrier's surname. So there we go. I'll tell you what though, David Rollerson, a Battle of the Arms currently on the rundown. As we can see, Nia Gluskick. Ooh, that looked like a slowdown there, Dan. He lost a bunch of positions within a short space of time.
Yeah, but I don't know. Knowing this track, I don't really know where you could have got that slowdown. Maybe there was a slowdown implemented with the newer updates, but I don't know where he could have got that. It looks like he just got out wide and then couldn't come back onto the track because he had a group of like 6 cars behind him.
Yeah, we jump back up front, Sedgley and that's Mathiasen this time. So Mathiasen has cleared. Also, he's cleared Daniel Sedgley, and he's also cleared Rudolf Nagel. So unfortunately for Nagel, he's looking like he's going down the order, and this is where Mathiasen got the job done on that run down into Lacombe. So he looks like he's done 1 a lap at the moment, and is now just taken out of the lead. So be careful, because Mathiasen looks like he's absolutely flying and has got Daniel Sedgley at the same point in Lacombe, and is taking over the lead down. We've got 1 hour 20 left to go. Don't forget, we are going to have pit stops as well, because we don't think they're going to get to the end. But that kind of is an early statement from Mathiasen there. He's kind of sitting back saying, well, you know, I'm here as well. I want a piece of this action. And he's trying to extend his gap now. He's got it out to about a second. So he's obviously absolutely flying.
Yeah. Well, I know Daniel Sedgley. He's a really good driver. I've never seen really Mathiasen race. But he looks like he's up for a fight. Oh, is that really slowly on the inside?
Michael LeMay.
Didn't Michael LeMay had to avoid that? I think
Yeah.
Michael LeMay had to avoid the 17 on the inside, which is, if I really quickly look at my timer screen,
Byron
the 17
Crawford.
is Byron Crawford. Exactly. So he was going really slow there on the inside.
Yeah, Byron Crawford is not looking like he's having a good time there, but I got a funny feeling that may have been involved in that. We may have jumped a little bit earlier on Byron there, because that possibly could have been Guy Robinson with the RRS logo down the side of his car, which I believe was the one in front. But there is a great little battle materialising from Robinson, LeMay, Crawford, Gluskick, Paul LeMay, David Rollison and Sandro Capella. These guys are literally within about 1 to 1.5 currently of each other at the moment. So we will keep an eye on that gap. You can see it there. It's the battle down in 19th, 18th, 19th, 20th position. There they all are. Your gaggle of 7 cars going into La Source as they start their run down into El Rouge and Radion. So this has just been an absolute non-stop, full-on action-packed beginning. As Letner's there as a team slow-mo as well. Why do I recognise that name? Letners, let me know you race in other series. I covered one yesterday on ACC. I don't wonder if you were in that young gentleman that was in that one. Ivan Bramer and Daniele Cascado are mixing it up on the track. We've got Platinum Racing and Team Made. They are on track currently at the moment, and they're literally less than about 2 tenths in front. But Paul Crabb has just taken Stephen Place. So Paul Crabb has just got through as well, and Ivan Bramer defending frantically from the AMS leader. Now, we did have this conversation in Discord chat about promotions and demotions depending on where they are. Now, there was a talk of whether or not we're going to look at it if Daniele Cascado is constantly, you know, taking over pro drivers down, whether or not he needs to be promoted to pro himself. And what's your opinion on that? Do you think that's a right thing to do, or do you think it's not a right thing to do?
Well, I think that goes more into being a pro driver than only your pace on the track. I think the way you drive is also to be counted with, in putting someone into a class, because he might be quick, but he might also make some silly moves, or I don't know, but which does slow him down on an average basis. So I don't think that we should really look at it on a one race basis, but look at it maybe further on into the season.
I will like to say one thing. Yes, I agree with you. I don't think it needs to be over the first race, but as we say, I think if Daniele Cascado constantly is, you know, ahead of the pros, I think that needs to be looked at. What I will say is, now I don't know if your off-track count matches mine, but there are drivers racking up some off-tracks, and there is actually no drivers on 0 off-tracks. So nobody is going to get the maximum clean driving that I can see with 5 points. I think everybody at some point has got an off-track, and Sandra Capella is currently, what I can see, on the lowest on one off-track, Dan.
Yeah, I think at the moment, actually getting another one now is Daniel Sedgley on 13. So he's already really close to a drive-through, and that might be why he was so fast. He was exploiting the track limits a little bit, but yeah, it looks like Nagel behind him is now catching up slowly but surely. But yeah, already on 13, that's really early on in the race where you only have 2 off tracks left.
Yeah, and Dozer's trying to make a move up the inside of Cascado. Cascado's got the inside for the next exit of Fagnes. They go running down now around Paul Ferrer, but that's Cascado under attack from John McHutchinson now. Be interesting to see what strategies John comes up with this season, mate, as well, because obviously we know from last season he kind of has his own strategy that basically outdoes others at times, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a really, really smart driver, as we saw last season. But I think last season there weren't too many options, and we saw other drivers. He's now going to try and go up the inside. Daniele Cascado, does he make the move stick? Yes, he does, up the inside of the bus stop. Makes that move stick, and he's now up into P10. But we saw last season that he was the only one really able to make the strategy that he did work. We saw other drivers try it, but they failed at it in a spectacular way. So it was only him really able to succeed with that strategy. So yeah, a really smart driver, this is on McHutchison.
Yeah, I think the problem is as well is when we've spoken to other drivers, so we will have interviews at the end of the broadcast, guys, as well, is when we've spoken to other drivers, they did turn around and say that they have tried John's strat and they just didn't feel that they were fast enough in it. As we can see John here trying to make the move around the inside of Dozer into Lacombe, and that is John McHutchison making his way through the field. He's down 1 on his grid place, got caught up in all the melee that happened at the beginning with Marnix Heister, who kind of almost started it off and then went again over one of the team slow-mo drivers down into Lacombe. So Marnix has not had the best of opening races here for round 1 of the Radical Sim Racing Endurance Championship. But John McHutchison looks like he's on a bit of a mission here, Dan. Now he's going to be flying up to the back of Ivan Bramer very shortly.
Yeah, of course, he came in very late in qualifying, so he will be able to learn the track as he goes, and he will be getting quicker as the race progresses. So I do think that where we see John McHutchison now, that will not be his final finishing position. Round the outside of Ivan Bramer then. Oh, who's that wide? I think that's Dolzer off. And can he get back on track? Yes, he can.
Yeah, he manages to keep on.
So that will help him. But yeah, John McHutchison, I think he will be able to finish around there. I think at least the top 5 positions with the pace he normally has.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he is just a master of strategies in general, is the Scotsman. So I think that's going to be one person we should get and keep an eye out as well. So the poll is still running, guys. Currently, who you think is going to win? Now I can leave it up and running for a little bit. Haig is currently top on 64% of the votes. Now I'm not going to be disrespectful to Henning Haig, but he is currently down in 15th. However, Cascado is dropping down the order faster than a blinking elevator at Trump Towers, I'll tell you that much. He had an incident, and this is what Daniele Cascado was up to, going, oh, that was avoiding action of John McHutchison, and there is Lucas Doda, and there is Daniele Cascado. So Cascado taking avoiding action there as well from not hitting the back from John, which I suppose in a way is sensible kind of this early on.
Yeah, and well, like that, I want to go back to the incident that we saw in the beginning with, I think it was Henning Haig and Damien G, who went off at Blanchimont. You have a race that is 90 minutes long, and do you, in a position where you are Henning Haig, you're really quick, you know that you're one of the quickest drivers on the track at the moment. Do you really want to go side by side with someone 5 minutes into a 90-minute race at Blanchimont?
No. Why would you?
Exactly. So that's. I don't really know why he did that. Of course, these drivers have to make those decisions within a split second. So of course they do make mistakes, as all humans do. But yeah, we're sitting here talking about it afterwards, of course. But I think he could have been better with his decision making there and just wait for a better opportunity, maybe into the bus stop.
Yeah, it's tough. We can see Henning Haig now. I think Henning was involved with the Marnik's second, not only did the first part, but also the second part of the Marnik's Heisters incident as well. And I think that's going to be an absolute massive thing for Henning. He's now going side by side with Gary Truby down in Blanchimont. Again, not what we would say that you would want to be doing, almost, Dan.
No, you still have 70 minutes left, and I think now Truby has realized that it's passed. Maybe try and stick with him, but yeah, not really a place to go side by side through, as it's difficult enough to go single file through that corner.
Yeah, and what I don't want to see is some of these guys going side by side up through El Rouge and Marion. Because I did see this in another series yesterday, and it did not end well for at least 4 drivers that made 2 attempts at it, and it didn't go well for them. So we're trying to stay away from the side-by-side action. However, David Watts from Tiger Team makes his move over Ivan Bremer down into Lacombe. He goes, and Bremer's trying to run him back again. It looked like Bremer got a better exit out Lacombe than David Walters, but David manages to hold on. Now, when we've spoken to David previously, David a couple of times qualified on pole last season, and him himself said that he didn't get the best getaways. Now, at some races, I've seen poor old David Walters go down from first to 6th before. Ivan Bremer!
At double gauche, really early on there. I don't think it was even turning in for the left-hander already, but that's a hard hit into the barrier. As we take a look at it again, Henning Haig, there, that's already, I think,
it's a bit later on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here we go.
As we look now with Ivan Bremer, but look, okay, he's turning in. Oh, is that the curb that unsettled the car? Must have been, James.
Yeah, there doesn't seem much of a reason why that would likely to happen. It seemed a weird one. It snapped. He looked like he overcorrected it, and then unfortunately, rear locking under braking maybe, because I've done that myself with this brake setup on this car. You either, it's all or nothing, really, Dan. I think that's the thing that we've got to remember in this radical. It's kind of all or nothing. You've either got brakes or you're not pushing them hard enough, and then it's trying to find that balance. So that might have been just Ivan Bremer braking a little bit too hard. Yeah, braking on the curb, probably snapped the back end out, and then he ended up down, well, where we saw it, down in the wall, down in Pouan. So Larson now is chasing over the back of David Walters. You can see it visually on your track. Larson there in the Joker livery. I do like, that's the one I run on my own SR10. As he comes down, Kemmel now is going to be looking at trying to make the move through David Waters. David Waters leaves the door open. You leave it open that far, dear sir, you are going to get burgled. And here comes Larson, and he's taking David Waters. David Waters goes in very hot and manages to just about hold on from Daniele Cascado. That could have been a lot worse for David Waters.
Yeah. Manages to hold on, but that Tiger livery really having to defend now. But yeah, like you said, you normally see that Tiger attack. Oh, Byron Crawford, he's around. Does well though to keep that out of the wall.
Hold on.
Oh no, no oncoming traffic, please.
No, Sandro must have had his own incident there into the bus stop. Yes, just very slow. Did he get on the gas too early?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Curb again. Oh, that's a weird one.
Yeah, that can happen when you over accelerate on the SR10. And even though you think you're safe and the car's settled, clearly from his point of view, he wasn't safe and settled. But we'll pick up the David Waters, Daniele Cascado and Larson battle. No, David Waters, Daniele Cascado and Henning Haig behind. So this is going to be an interesting one, and these are going to be coming very spicy very shortly. Cascado has sent it. He sent it from miles back. He's closed the door. Oh!
James, that was so close. That's a typical bus stop move we see there, closing the door on the exit. And I think they were both lucky there that they got out of the way of that unscathed.
If I was David Waters about now, I'd be rubbing my face just to make sure my nose was left on it, because I've just had my own personal nose job done by Daniele Cascado, who has literally taken it off. That was incredibly close from Cascado there, and I think if I can try and get that on board with David Waters, we'll try and have a look on the nose. Here we go, there is David Waters on the nose. Here comes Cascado. Whoa!
Wow. Wow. That was close.
Daniele Cascado making an absolute exceptional move over David Waters, and left poor David needing surgery to replace the nose that he's just lost from Cascado. Oh, Cascado's gone round. No! In no name. Stop! That was Paul Clark. Paul Clark made it unscathed. Daniele Cascado still keeps it on track. And Paul Clark manages, well,
That was close.
to somehow avoid that. Here comes Cascado. We'll jump on with Paul as we can get somehow out of the trees. Jump on board with Paul Clark about now. Into, oh, he did. There was contact.
Yeah, they did touch, and that is really poor there from our man.
Cascado, I think he probably would be on the apology list for that one. It's a poor old Paul Clark there.
I think that's a case, James, of too eager to get back into it.
Yeah, he knew that he needed his position, and basically he just wanted to try and get back and take it as much as he could. But unfortunately for Cascado, manages to put a little bit of a rubbing mark on Paul Clark's nice blue livery.
Yeah. So he will now carry Paul Clark with him for the rest of this race.
Well, you know, there are worse drivers you could have a go at, I suppose. You know. So, you know, Paul Clark there is not only on his own car, he's on Daniele Cascado's. Cascado is in the pits. Michael LeMay is in the pits. Now, I do wonder if this is where we might see the one and only pit stop from Michael LeMay and Daniele Cascado. They're down in 21st and 22nd. They're in the pits literally next to each other. So that makes it easiest for us to see both of them. Cascado's up taking tyres. I think probably LeMay's already done and dusted on his one. I don't know if that would be a little bit early on a 1.0 still with an hour and 2 to go.
Well, normally, like GT cars, they need around 100 liters of fuel to get to the end of the hour, basically. So that is really early to go in, basically. Don't know, but yeah, I have a feeling that the guys that are gonna pit now are probably gonna go for another stop.
You reckon?
Yeah, if it isn't for fuel, it'll be for tires, because like you said before the cast, we had a little chat about it. This thing eats tires for breakfast, and we might see people getting into the pits 2 times to take tires, and I think doing it every half an hour is the best way of doing it then.
And what about the long-term loss of that minute? You know, because Cascado and LeMay are on minute 5s. Bramer's on a minute 5. Oh, that was a Parmalee car there, number 17. That's Byron Crawford. Has not had a good time currently at the moment. David Waters has also, I don't really want to look, but I'm just going to see what he's been up to. I've got a funny feeling he's not in the pits. This is running down into the bus stop.
Walking, I think.
No, he didn't look. Oh. brothers.
Car getting unsettled, I think, under braking, and then yeah, really getting away from him when he tried to apply a little bit of throttle between the first and second part of that chicane. So look now with Guy Robertson, what has he been up to?
Well, if you keep an eye on the two brothers racing, Paul and May.
Oh, that's an interesting line into the pitch stage.
Yeah, they obviously we have to keep an eye on that one, guys. If they haven't actually had a crash, they may just be in the pits. Paul LeMay is in now as well. Guy Robinson is in. Ivan Bramer's pitted on a 1:05.62 his full pit lane time. Cascado 1:08.87. Damien G 1:26.72. Obviously he had fast repairs down. That's why he's back out on track so quick. After we absolutely saw him demolish his car in Blanchimont at the hands of, I think it was Henning Haig, who, they had a coming together. I can't really get too much, I don't want to get too much involved in that conversation. But at the end of the day, you know, drivers taking their stops already, 59 on the clock. They weren't drivers that I think were running low fuel. You know, Damien G obviously went in because he had that incident. Cascado had his incident. Bramer had incident. Byron Crawford, I would have thought would have been into the pits by now. He's been involved in a couple of his own little tangles. As we can see, with Freeway from place. Terrier in the mix as well as car number 87, and Lucas Dozer still chasing down on the back of Stephen Place, who's got John McHutchinson has gone through. So John now is up into 6th, +2 on his grid slot there, Dan. He's making massive gains. Yes, Marnix, yeah, sad face for you, young sir, cause, well, shall I say cause.
Tell us what happened.
Yeah, tell us what happened, Marnix. From our point of view, it looks like you went a little bit hot into turn 1. We will have a look on the chopper. So there is Marnix in the middle. I'll tell you what might actually be easier. There he comes, car number 15. Gets past the very slow starting car number 69. Jostling for position, 3 wide. Oh, that, if I'm not mistaken, was Stephen Place tapping the side of Marnix Heister. And that is where then chaos kind of commenced after that, Dan, didn't we? And we saw it there being cars all over the place. As we see David Walters and Alphonse Ruiz from HRT. Around they go, and that is Alphonse Ruiz up into 13th place currently at the moment. But let us know, Marnix, what your point of view is. We've got Paul Clark from R Lounge Racing is currently in the pits. So we will bring you up the pit lap times when we get everybody so far. So this is the situation of the top 20. So when others start pitting, we will bring you up the rest of that information that we can get. Currently for David Walters, however, he's got Ruiz in front and Gluskick behind him. This is the lap time history of David Walters. He's slower than Ruiz on lap 11, faster on lap 12, and slower again on lap 14 there, Dan. So it kind of tells you David Walters' story, really, just from that one graphic.
Yeah, and I think taking a look, by the way, at Ivan Bramer, he had a really good start, was up 11th position, and I think he took perfect advantage of the carnage that happened at turn 1 La Source. And after that, has been dropping back slowly down the field once again. So, not the happiest man, I think, after the start, but yeah, he's still been really consistent, been really smart with his moves, and tried to stick behind everyone that overtaken him.
Yeah, I think that's kind of important. I think that's what they've got to do now. You can see Rudolf Nagel is Daniel Sedgley are having a nice little lock-in battle. Sedgley a little bit quicker than Nagel in sector 1. Let's see what Nagel can do here and see whether or not he can close that gap up. Don't forget, this was your initial pole man there. He's got the Fernando Alonso helmet on his head, protecting him from all flying dust, debris, and of course himself. If the SR10 tips over, the last thing Rudolf Nagel wants to do is damage his head. very important. Wear a helmet, kids. We'd like to bring you up safety standards here. So wear a helmet if you're on a skateboard or scooter because it can cause you damage. There you go, Dan. Safety report done.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, even on the bicycle, I used to go to school, to primary school.
I hope so. We all did, didn't we?
And yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. It's just the fact that you said I used to go to school.
Yeah, well, for some people, James, it's not normal to go to school, if you know what I mean. So, well, it's 2022, so, you know, but yeah, I used to go to school on my bicycle, and I wasn't very smart at that time. Very young, don't know, about 8. So, yeah. A daredevil, oh, as Daniel Sedgley there at Blanchimont. Had a big wiggle, but manages to keep the car going in a straight line. And yeah, got driven into by a car. And yeah, let me tell you, my helmet saved me. So wear a kit. Oh, wear a kit.
Wear a kit.
Wear a I fluffed that, man.
Okay, don't
wear a helmet, kids.
Okay, don't wear a kit. We're not promoting that here on the JPB YouTube channel.
Oh my god, man. I fluffed that. It's important. Wear a helmet, kids.
Wear a helmet, kids. That's
Even adults. It can save your life. While James is having a mental breakdown from what I just said, what has happened to Rudolf Nagel? Because that gap was 7 seconds, James, and now it's back down to 3/10.
I got.
I'm sorry for that, everyone. Do not wear kids. Wear helmet.
Wear helmet.
Wear helmet,
please.
please.
Yeah, please don't wear children. Wear a helmet, guys, as well. Okay, to stay safe. You know, you can't do that. Please don't do that. Sorry, who? Oh, blimey. What did you ask me?
I asked Rudolf Nagel. That gap was 7 seconds back to Daniel Sedgley, and at Blanchimont he was behind him. So what exactly happened? Did he pit? But I don't think
no pits.
He would have gone right back down the order. I think something must have happened to him.
Yeah, no pitting there at all. Can't physically see anything there. Mateusen has been into the pits. So here are your current pits people as well. Mateusen is in the bin and done. Rolliston has pitted. Henning Haig has pitted. Ivan Bramer, Daniele Cascado, Teye has pitted. David Walters, Paul Clark, Guy Robinson, Damien G, Michael LeMay, Sandra Capella, Paul LeMay, and Byron Crawford is in as well. We've only got 2 cars out currently, and that's Graham Brown and Marnix Heister. So, yeah, as you can see.
Well, it just clicked for me, James. It was Daniel Sedgley ahead of Rudolf Nagel.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, Madison who pitted from the lead. He's now in P12. So, yeah, that is what happened.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I got both yellow liveries confused.
Oh, okay, cool. I was a little bit confused. No, Mateusen has pitted and is currently in 12th place, so I'm sure he will be back making his way through the field as the cars in front of him start pitting. The interesting thing for Mateusen, he come out still in front of David Rolliston, who hasn't pitted. This is Stephen Place and Lucas Dozer. There was a very slow car, number 34 there, on the left-hand side. That is Sandro Capella, who has just been lapped, unfortunately for him. So we have to keep an eye on that one. But this Place and Dozer battle looks like it's getting a bit hot and spicy as we see Nia Gluskic go into the pits as well as these guys come down into Rivage, the right-hander, before they go through No Name and down into Pouillon. They're down as well. So
how do you say that corner name again?
Pouillon.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Why?
No, I heard you said Pouillon, but
yeah, Pouillon. I think it's P-O-U-H-O-N. I think.
Yeah, P-O-U-H-O-N.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The proper French way would be Pouillon. just some random facts here. Pourrant would be the perfect French way of saying it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. It's not now, unless they've actually updated. No, it's Pouhon, P-O-U-H-O-N. But there are a couple of track maps that call it double gauge. Double gauge.
Double gauge.
Now,
Which means double left-hander.
Yeah, I've always known it as Pouhon. So, in my eyes, it's going to stay as Pouhon.
Yeah.
I'm not going over with this double gauge stuff that I can't pronounce because I sound like a right China lemon trying to pronounce it. So there we go. But Daniel Sedgley and Rudolf Nagel are right up behind each other again, going down into La Source. Mike Bousson has also got his first self involved in the action. There he is. There is Mike, car number 5. Not seen much of Mike this evening. Kjetil Larsen is in the pits as well, guys. So Kjetil Larsen is in the pits. But Daniel Sedgley has got past Rudolf Nagel and is back out. So Rudolf Nagel did go off track. And this could be where Sedgley made that move as they go round Paul Ferrer coming on to Blanchimont. He's going to run wide. Okay, it wasn't a massive off track. Not quite sure how he lost that much time. But Gary Truby has also entered into the pits at the same time. Nothing doing for Rudolf Nagel there. I'm not quite sure where this kind of happened.
Maybe a slowdown going deep into the chicane?
No, not entirely sure on that one. But he has managed to lose first place to Daniel Sedgley. So we'll keep an eye on this bout as it goes along. This is where Daniel Sedgley passed on the left-hand side there. So it was possibly a slowdown. He's gone left and got the time off. So there you go, Daniel Sedgley now currently out in first, Rudolf Nagel in second, Mike Bousson in third. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Gary Truby is now pitted as well. So there are a lot of people into the pits. Now, Kjetil Larsen is basically running in 10th overall, 9th in class. And his pit lane time currently has been between 5 to 10 seconds quicker than everybody else. And his pit stop box top time is 29.73. The nearest one to that after that was a 37.7. So he's chopped a lot of time, Kjetil Larsen, off his pit lane time. As we can see now, we'll bring you up the details of who has stopped and who hasn't. There you go, Mathiasson has stopped Larsen, Rolliston hasn't. Haig, Bramer, Cascado, Truby, they've all stopped. Gluskick, Walters, Clark, Robinson has all stopped, and Terrier has also stopped as well. So there's going to be some interesting, I guess, some interesting strategies that others are kind of adopting currently at the moment.
Yeah, well, by the way, let me tell you, that livery from Kjetil Larsen, a really scary one though. If I would see that one coming up in my rear mirror, I would let him pass. But here we go. Lucas Dolzer going down opposition. And that is Stephen Place up 1 in the 334. Beautiful move.
Nice and straightforward, down into Lacombe, job done. Now, I will say one thing about Kjetil Larsen's livery. It doesn't work for me, what you said, because I run that livery on my SR10, because, you know, I do love a good little bit of a joker. And it doesn't work for me. As we see Terrier having a battle with Gary Truby down Blanchimont, coming under the bridge and then going left. Truby in the number 1 car in front currently at the moment, as he's trying to keep Terrier behind him. Looking like a little bit of a tall order here, I'm not going to lie, because Terrier does look visually quicker on a 2:11.93 last time round. Truby's 2:18.46, so it could be possible that Truby was had a slowdown somewhere as well, but currently being chased all over by Terrier. So what do we think there, Dan?
Well, Terrier is really, really fast, and I think the longer the guys at the front of the field, as you see, switch for position there now. Then he essentially, I think, into the pits, or made a mistake. But yeah, he's dropping down the order really quickly. But the longer they stay out, the more time I think Terrier is going to gain on them, because he had fresh tires when he came into the pits. Here we see Daniel essentially. Oh no, can he keep going in a straight line? Or at least out of the wall? No, he can't. That's a typical Blanchimont spin there.
Yeah, Sedgley's in the pits, Krabs in the pits, Bouslon's in the pits there as well. And unfortunately for Daniel Sedgley, that's dropped him down the order. He would have been heading into the pits within the top 2. He's now down the order, currently in 5th in the pit lane. John McHutchison, Lucas Dozer, Stephen Place, and Rudolf Nagao. We've got Alphonse Ruiz and David Rollison are the only men currently on track who have not pitted so far, Dan.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, the pole we put up at the beginning of the race is not aging well. It is at the moment Henrik Haug, who's already, I think, at the moment one of the fastest, so he's going to be in contention. But Daniel Sedgley isn't anymore. I think Dolzer isn't either at the moment. Because the gap is quite big back to P1 Nagel at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's...
And once again, James, I think that proves to us that qualifying pace tells us absolutely zero about the race pace and about the longer stints of a driver.
Yeah, I think looking at it, we've literally can't really classify anything.
No.
You know, look at the gainers. Ruiz is up 15, but he hasn't pitted at the moment. Rollison's up 10, but another man who's not been into the pits at the moment either. And I think from what we can sit back and say, you know, as much as we want, we're not in the car with these guys, and I think that's kind of a thing where we're not going to really know how this is all going to pan out, probably within the next sort of last 25 minutes, I would have thought.
Yeah, and that's all. It's a thing I like about endurance racing. It's at some point the race becomes really quiet, but for the drivers, they are still working on their strategy left, right, and center, as you see the gaps to the cars now. And but they're still working on their strategy. That was a bit deep there.
Yeah, Gary Truby went in. He was almost deep sea fishing. He went in that deep. I'll tell you that much, because he did go into Lacombe at a very rapid rate. Unfortunately for him, Nia Gluskic is tucked up right behind him now. So this could be an interesting battle in the AM fight. Alphonse Ruiz currently is your leader. Nagao is your leader in your pros. You can see it at the top of your screen as well. But don't forget, Ruiz has not pitted. Now Dozer is also closing down on Rudolf Nagao, and I would like to point out that these are the same team. Teammates here. Dozer in front, McHutchison, and then Stephen Place, sorry. So that's your interesting battle. Dozer, McHutchison, and Place currently at the moment.
Are they teammates?
McHutchison and Place are, yeah, Team Adelaide.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah, because he's running a different livery to me. I don't know if I have the correct livery. No, I do not have it. I just
John is running.
Yeah, the yellow one.
The yellow one.
Okay. Nah, it's obvious for me then, but yeah.
Place is behind in the darker version, I think.
Working together, maybe?
I think, to be honest, Place has probably done the right thing and let John go. John is in car number 69. He's currently trying to get up to the back of Lucas Dozer. Again, they've not pitted. The problem is Rudolf Nagao is down 14 seconds down the road. So unless they're running exceptionally long here, Dan, they're gonna be in trouble here as well, because they've got to look at making up 14 seconds over Nagao himself in front.
Yeah, well, I think because Turrier pitted really early, his tires are now going to be so much older than these guys when they come out of the pit lane, that they will have a massive advantage over him. So at that point, it's just really them gaining time on him, I assume. But yeah, he's gone really, really early. Might have to go again. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens to him after all the pit stops have cycled through and everyone is on their their last set of tires.
Yeah, I want to have a look back at the start in a minute, because I've got a funny feeling here that Marek Heister was not fully responsible for that move, and I want to try and pick out who may have been involved with that one. As we can see, John McHutchinson here making a move past Lucas Doza for second place, and that is John through and dusted. I'm going to have another look at the green flag from the beginning with Marek Heister from Team Platinum Racing. If I can go back far enough, that would be lovely, please, Mr. Replay. Can you go back far enough?
I have a feeling we can't.
No, it's not going to love it. I don't think going back that far will allow us to. Sorry about the stuttery JPB transition there. It clearly did not like trying to go back that far. But I got a funny feeling Marnix may have been touched, and I got a funny feeling it may have been Stephen Place. It's one I'm going to have to look back at myself as I sit here quite happily trying to find it, because I got a funny feeling Marek Heister may not have been fully responsible.
What incident
for
do you
that.
mean? The incident in turn one, or the incident at Lecom?
Lecome's, I believe Marnix has put his hand up and said, you know, no, that was me, I did that, you know.
Yeah.
But I think into the first corner.
Yeah, he was touched up the inside, I think, by a yellow and black car.
Okay, well that kind of narrows it down. I'm just trying to have a look. Car number 64, Paul Crabb. So that was a touch from Paul and Marnix at the beginning, and that is where that happened, Dan. So it was Paul Crabb that was involved in the incident with Marek Heister at the beginning. So, yeah, not all Marnix's own doing, but however, he was responsible for the fact that he went into Lecombe a little bit hot there, Dan, didn't he?
Yeah, Lecombe, it just looked like the car did not want to stop, because the hit into, I think it was Haug, was really, really hard as well. So, yeah, I don't know really what happened there, but the car just did not want to stop for some reason into the comp.
No, absolutely not. As we see, Larson under attack from Mike Buson. Mike is going up the inside. The door's going to close. Larson was never going to leave that door open, as Buson now trying to get his way back past Larson here this evening. So we'll see how this one pans out. Is Buson going to make the move down into Lesource? He sticks his nose out now. Larson's on the right. Leaving room. He's there. He's there. He's there. I'm not quite sure from Mike's point of view whether or not I would have taken that move so early, Dan. I think maybe settling behind Larson. Oh, please don't take it too wide. Up El Rouge and Radion. Give room, give room. Because Buson's kind of under attack again, going down into Lecombe.
Yeah, well, like you said earlier in the race, when you're defending, you're not really going forwards by any means. But Mike Buson now is looking in his rear view mirror and sees that it is Place under it, or Larson under attack from Paul Crabb.
Yeah,
and he might have that move done on the inside, on the exit of Lecombe, and he does.
Yeah. Now that's not your normal exit point there, coming out of Lecombe into Mamadi, and he might have made it. Paul Crabb, well, got the job done there. Obviously, from Paul's point of view, whether or not that start, I think it's a tough one, whether or not Paul Crabb will be under Stewart's investigation for the beginning start. Do you know what I mean? Because it's...
Yeah. We've seen it numerous times. What happened is that turn one really, really tightens up when you get to the apex. Everyone wants to get to the... Basically, everyone wants to touch that inside wall almost. Yeah. Because it is the shortest line through La Source. Yeah. So it all tightens up really, really closely. Marnix Heister, I think, turned in relatively early, but also not too early. And I think Paul Crabb just did not expect that. Well, that's really wide there, Mr. Larson. That's not where you want to be going.
No, definitely not, especially not with Daniel Sedgley tucked up right beside you, as you're running too wide through Blanchemont now. As we're currently with these guys here on...
Oh, Daniel Sedgley off once again at Blanchemont. Sorry to cut you off there, James, but once again, Daniel Sedgley with a spin at Blanchemont. Not friends with that corner this evening. But once again, gets going. This time keeps it out of the barrier. Oh, that was a big spin once again at Blanchimont. And if you spin at Blanchimont, it's at very high speed. So it did well to once again keep that out of the wall.
Yeah, he's survived twice as Daniel Sedgley. And you don't want to push your third time's the charm, do you? As you see Alphonse Ruiz in the pits. Nagel was still not pitted, McHutchinson not pitted, Lucas Dozer not pitted as we've got 35 on the clock as these guys are on lap 25. Lucky enough for Sedgley there again, but would you really want to go for a third time, Dan, just in case you don't survive that?
Well, I would have needed a new pair of pants after the first one. I don't know if he has any left. Does he have any left? If he does, he maybe want to try and go for some style points and do it for a third one. But he first needs to get the gap back to Haug behind him, and then he might be able to do with a 360 at Blanchimont once again.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I'd want to try and do it for a third time there as well. So definitely not on my agenda if I was currently Daniel Sedgley, whether or not I would want to be trying to get that car to go round.
But how would you be feeling as well if you now go into Blanchimont and you've spun already 2 times? I would beginning to doubt myself going into that corner now.
Yeah, you're going to be looking at taking it easy. You need, what he doesn't want to do is obviously burn up his tyres, but he also doesn't want to panic because we've got McHutchinson and Dozer in the pits. Now the man to watch is Mathiasen, who's going to come through and take these 2 positions. So Mathiasen will go up into second place. He's going to go past Dozer and McHutchinson. There he goes. Now he's only 38 seconds back from our leader, Rudolf Nagel. And I'll keep an eye on these guys' pit lane time. They are obviously going to go to the end, I believe, now down with 34 minutes remaining.
Yeah, they must be, but I think Rudolf Nagel hasn't pitted yet. No, everyone has pitted apart from Rudolf Nagel, and well, how much longer can he go is the question. I think with being John McHutchinson, he had to attack in the early stages of this race. Didn't start where he wanted. Had some unfortunate incidents at the start, so he had to push to get back through the field. Oh, that is not
Mathiasen. No, you cannot afford to be doing that, young sir. You were closing right up. Now, the interesting thing I want to touch on is Lucas Dozer, right, went into the pits at the same time as John McHutchinson. John's pit lane time was 49.05 seconds. Dozer's was 20 seconds slower on a 1:10.22. And Dozer is now gone from second place all the way down to 10th overall, where McHutchinson has managed to hang on, as he goes wide there, to third place. So I'm not quite sure where the 20-second discrepancy has come from maybe Lucas Dozer.
Tires, but a 49-second pit lane time is already a time where you would assume that he did take tires. But the thing is
they
now,
would anyway, because it's all evolved at the same time as the fuel. So there's no need for them not to take the tyres because you're not really gaining anything. But at the same time, you know, it obviously there's obviously a discrepancy somewhere because John's was 20 seconds faster than Lucas Dozer's.
Yeah, but Rudolf Nagel, though, the gap at the moment 45 seconds. I have a funny feeling it's going to be rather close on pit exit between Mathiasen and Rudolf Nagel, and John McHutchinson also with 30 minutes to go, so still 1/3 of the race to go. Not out of this race as well. The gap to Mathiasen, 5 seconds after that spin from him, or after that off at Lecombe. So he is back in the race again as well. So it could be the case that after starting from P8 or P11 it was for John McHutchinson, dropping back and then once again coming back to win. So it could be a John McHutchinson masterclass once again.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, you know.
I could be too early with that, but he is third after he's made his pit stop, and before his pit stop he was P8. So once again, a strategic masterclass from that man.
Yeah, we'll have to kind of keep an eye when they go into the pits, where these guys will come out. And we can see there as well. There is first place on your screen, on your track map. There is Matheson now is coming up round Paul Ferrer. No, he's into Fanier coming up through Paul Ferrer. So we'll keep an eye on Nagao in the pits and we can see where Matheson is. He's going out of the second exit. He's number 2 on your track map at the top, guys. Okay, so I haven't just deleted everyone, but it's currently number 2 on the track map. And we'll have to see how this one pans out, I think, mate, because it's going to be close with these guys. As we see John McHutchinson. Oh,
He's going to be ahead.
He's going to be ahead.
Wow.
He got ahead by a country mile. Matheson's back in the pits.
Yeah, I said that earlier. He pitted really early, I think just past 30 minutes into the race. It could be the case that he's out of fuel or that he wants new tires.
He pitted on lap 16. He pitted on lap 16, is now back in the pits. Matheson there is made a move that was not expecting at all, and I'm not expecting it.
I was expecting it.
You was?
Yeah, go on early into the stream when we're done with it and hear me say that I was expecting him into the pit lane again because I had a funny feeling that he was going to do a 2-stop on tires. Not on fuel, just on tires.
No, he's still in the pits. He's 50 seconds in the pits. Cascado's in the pits. That is going to drop Cascado behind Nia Gluskic. There is Gluskic now. Gluskic's going to take the overall lead in the AMS. Ruiz is second. Can Gary Truby get Cascado at the same time? Have they played a masterstroke and expecting everybody else to go in now? Gary Truby's gone past Cascado. Robinson's gone past Cascado. Cascado's still in the pits, up in the air. So clearly he's gone for tyres.
Well, let me tell you, John McHutchinson is not going to go into the pit lane again.
No, he doesn't need to. He pitted on lap 25.
Yeah.
As we can see, Nia Gluskic there just been passed by Alphonse Ruiz from the HRT team. So Cascado's still in the pits, is on his way out now.
That's a weird one, James.
Mateusen has got a weird one going, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I know you said Mateusen was going in, but he's gone in and come out on lap 10.
Position 10, you mean, I think.
Position 10, sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was expecting him in, but I wasn't expecting him to be in for fuel and tires. That is a really, really strange one.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very bizarre.
He has now, what is it, 25 seconds to catch up to Dolzer, ahead of him in P9. I don't see him do that with the 27 minutes left on, even if he's on new tires.
No, it's too far. He's got 25 seconds to the guy in front. He's got a minute 9 over Nagao in front of him. There's no way he's going to catch him.
No. But also, why would you need so much fuel for the end of the race? Did he accidentally leave fuel on, maybe? That he now has a full car.
Well, he's not going to have, well, possible. He's going to have a big chunk of fuel on a 105.92 pit stop, I can tell you that much. Whether or not he's got full fuel, that would be a different story altogether. But he is going to have a big old chunk of fuel that he possibly didn't require at this late stage in the race. And I think that could just be an overall mistake there. as we can see the two Team Radline drivers are Stephen Place, Mike Bousson, sorry, and Paul Crabb having an interesting little bit of a battle. Whether or not team orders, what do we reckon?
I have a feeling there are team orders involved, especially in this first race. I think it's not a team order on he is just better in general. No, he is just at the moment he's faster. Let him through. Don't fight it. Maybe try and tuck up into slipstream, and he will help you move forward as well. Because I think they're in a train of 3 now with the same team, all from Team Redline.
Well, we've actually got 4. We've got McCutcheon second, Place third, Bousson fourth, Crabb fifth. So 4 Radline drivers in the top 5 places. So obviously Team Radline clearly coming out showing that they are considerably stronger than what would be perceived as other people in as well. But LeMay's back in the pits, Capella's back in the pits, Robinson is on his way out. He's been in and out for the last 25 minutes. I'm not quite sure they got the 2 stops right here.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they were the only ones to go for the 2-stop. Maybe the tires take so long. I don't know. I can't really explain it, because we've seen some drivers go into the pit lane and not take tires, and their pit stop was 20 seconds longer. But that then should only tell us that the pit stop for only tires, as we see now, Henning Haig making a move on Larson. But that should tell us that a stop for only tires would be 20 seconds.
Larson there has just lost. Oh, Dozer's got in.
Okay, one back.
Dozer is just gone in way deep there for Lucas Dozer. So unfortunately for him, it's not only did he gain a position on last, he's now also lost the position as well. Gluskick back into the pits. Bousson here is currently closing down on the back end, trying to defend from Paul Crabb, who is behind him. So there is Paul Crabb behind currently Mike Bousson from Team Radline. It's like a Radline procession almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big train, and who's that in the middle of it? I think that's someone getting lapped. Is that Robertson?
Yeah, David Rolliston. No, not David Rolliston.
Robertson.
Is it Rolliston? No, it's not Rolliston. It's the other one. Guy Robertson.
Yeah.
Guy Robertson, sorry, there you go.
Finally got that one. Crawford now is into the pit lane. That is quite late on as well.
Mm. Yeah, so is Bramer. Byron Crawford and Bramer.
Some really weird strategies going on here at the moment, but after Madsen has come out of the pit lane posters, he has currently posted a purple second sector, so he is on a charge. But yeah, that gap is way too big, I think, to catch up. But McCutcheon at the front of the field, 14.2 seconds to Nigel. That could be close at the end of it.
Yeah, McCutcheon doesn't look like he's letting off, does he? And I think that's the thing. Yeah. Bousson still locked in with Crabb. What depends what Crabb is going to do. This is coming down Kemmel straight. There is their teammate in front, Stephen Place. So we'll have to see how this one pans out. But I got a funny feeling, no, Crabb's not really making that much of an effort, Dan, as he probably could be.
Well, I don't know really. It's a tough one to tell, but yeah, why would you stick behind this early on in the season? You know, if you're quicker in the early stages of the season, why wouldn't you be quicker at the end of the season? You know, it could well be a status thing, but I don't think that it has come that far that that is the case at the moment.
No, I don't think there's going to be 8 team orders this early on. As we see, Tayer's in the pits as well. 21 minutes remaining, and he's taking a pit stop. Until I catch up, I think until we can catch up with some of the drivers on these strategies, I think that, to be fair, they're kind of a little bit all over the place, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, I can't string it together at the moment. It's a lot of questions that I'm asking myself. But yeah, it does look like that Madsen is now the quickest driver on the circuit. Last time out was 2 seconds quicker than the leaders at the moment, but he's just way too far back to make that two-stop work.
Yeah, look at the times. Turrier has been in twice. Michael LeMay been in 3 times. Capella Clark has been in. Paul Clark and Sandra Capella has been in twice as well.
Hennig Haig
Haig
well.
is now in. So are they losing tyres at the end?
Could be the case, you know. I think Hennig Haig is one of the drivers who did not take tires at his stop. Did they maybe try and go 90 minutes with the tires? Could that be the case?
I don't know. It looks like Turrier is now in the pits as well.
Oh no. And he is not in a grid spot, is he? Or in a pit spot,
I'm not quite
is
sure where he is. To be honest, he's kind of not sat anywhere where you would expect him to be. But one man has not taken another pit stop, I wouldn't have thought, with 19 minutes remaining. Here's our leader, Rudolf Nagel, pitted on lap 27. We're now on lap 32, so we're only five laps into his stint. And I don't think he's going to be pitting at any time soon there, Dan.
No, I don't think so either, but he's made his pit stop very late. Even, I think he was the last one to make his first pit stop. And it has really paid off, going really, really long, not having to put so much fuel into the car. And yeah, 15 seconds, a little bit less is the gap now to McCutcheon. He is closing up McCutcheon, but not at a rate that you could say that he's going to catch him by the end of the race. Maybe the gap down to 7 seconds at the end. But it's, I think, if Rudolf Nagel doesn't do anything stupid here, or that nothing happens, he is this one in his back pocket.
Yeah, I think so as well. There is obviously Mike Bousson, Paul Crabb from Team Radline. Stephen Place now has got himself pulled into this freeway. So it'd be interesting to see what the whole strategy of this is going to materialise with Bousson. Place kind of moved over and let him through on that one. Is he going to do the same for Crabb? Is another story altogether, I would have thought.
I have a feeling he is, because it looks like he's dropping back a little bit from Bousson as well now. So, but the slipstream though is catching him right up again to the back of Bousson. He's going to try and move once again. I have a feeling this is just genuinely fighting going on here.
But poor old Bousson could end up losing 2 here if Crabb sends it on him.
I don't think he will be doing that. You never want to hit your teammate.
I know, but we can anticipate, can't we?
Yeah, we can, but would it just be stupid to take that much risk early on the season with your teammates?
Yeah, I don't think it would be very popular in the team if Paul Crabb had literally sent it into Lacombe on Mike Bousson there. Do you know what I mean?
No. But I think this is just fighting going on, but just proper fighting, really clean, trying to not even rub against each other. So yeah, they can fight, but just really cleanly.
Yeah, and I was just checking that Sandra Capella was still out on track there. I think he's the last of the runners. I think Paul Clark is out, Graham Brown is out, and Marnik Heister is out. It's currently at the moment. So Sandra Capella is the last remaining car. So we have got 24 cars still out on track this evening as we are entering into the last 16 minutes of this race, and we're in the battle for 3rd place. Stephen Place, Mike Bousson and Paul Crabb, all from Team Radline. Now, whether or not they're going to fight is a different story. Or they're going to try and make sure that they don't end up hitting each other coming into the last 16 minutes now.
Yeah, if I look at the poll we've put up in the beginning, Nagal, 28% of the people voted for him.
Mm.
So yeah, 28% of the people, I think, got it right. At the end of the day, I don't think John McCutcheon is going to catch up 14.5 seconds. So I think Rudolf Nagal can now take it easy, see this one out, and go home, take a pint, celebrate his victory. But yeah, it's all the others that were on there, not even close, I think, to the top 3. Daniel Sedgley is the closest.
Yeah, Haig is unfortunately down in 12th. Sedgley is in 6th. Dozer, well, is down in 7th. So, yeah, quite out compared to where the top 4 qualifiers were though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the old saying. In an endurance race, qualifying does not matter in terms of where you finish. The only thing, and I don't know if you agree on me with, or I don't know if you agree with me on that. The only thing where it helps with is you stay out of everything that happens behind you if you start in the first 2 rows at least.
You would have thought.
Yeah.
Because it was a very slow runner off the line, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I think that's your own mistake. That's nothing that you. I mean, if he would have just got off the line cleanly, he wouldn't have been involved in anything of it.
But then again, we've seen Daniel Sedgley kind of make his own mistakes as the race has gone on. So
yeah, but that
it really is a difficult situation, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the start. The start procedure, then you're out of the melee behind you, and you can have a clean start. And that's the only thing I feel qualifying really helps with.
Yeah, it's getting on that front row and that run down into the corner, because you've got to get this car off the line. And these cars are not at times the easiest to be getting off the line.
Oh no, definitely not. Stephen Place, where are you going, my friend? That was well held, but that loses him 3 positions, and that might be a 4th, because the run up to Le Combe is a long one, and he did lose a lot of speed.
Yeah, he's managed to keep it out of the wall, though, which again is one of the most important things that we've specified previously. To keep the car out of the wall, and is now down in 5th place altogether. With Lucas Dozer climbing right up behind him. So we're going to have to see what Stephen Place can do in this kind of situation. He's got to be really kind of getting his head down again to try and gain that position, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I think this is what now happened. Is exactly what they wanted to avoid at Team Redline. Pushing too hard, I think, to keep ahead of his teammates, and because of that, made a little bit of a mistake. Not too big of a mistake, of course, kept it out of the wall and pointing in the right direction, but I think it's something that they want to avoid, I think, next time. And I think that's where team orders do come in.
Yeah, Kettle Loss has just been in the pits again, and has now dropped down the order to 12th. Alphonse Roux is currently leading the AMs, and obviously Rudolf Nagal, as we've said, pretty much all the way through. It's currently leading the pros. You know, we
down in P23. What has happened to him?
Tellier went in the pits. He's been in the pits 3 times.
Okay, that is a weird strategy from him.
You know, been in the pits 3 times. So obviously they're not going to help. His last pit lane time was 2 minutes 45.08. So whether or not nature called as we see Stephen Place just move over and allow Lucas Dozer through. So that's Dozer up into 5th. So 11 minutes on the clock, and quite a few people have done more than 1 stop, which I was quite surprised about.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we expected at least 2 stops before, of course, Spa-Francorchamps. We talked about it, at least 2 stops, because this car eased through its tires. So the people who've done 1 stop, I think it isn't surprising. It is a strategy that was, well known for these drivers. It's a strategy that I think is the safest to do. you don't take as much risk with putting yourself in a position where you have to be aggressive and overtake people. But yeah, I think we expected the 2-stop to be really, really close to the 1-stop at least, and I think that's why we expected so many people in for a 2-stop. But it seems like the 2-stop really, really was a lot slower than the 1-stop here.
Well, the highest 2-stopper at the moment is Matheson in 8th place.
Yeah, and there's 58 seconds off the lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that proves to us that
2 stops didn't work.
Yeah. And I think drivers will learn from that in going into the next race, and I think we won't see as much 2-stoppers there.
Yeah.
Maybe like a John McHutchison going for an alternative strategy to try something else. But if we know there's one man who can make a ridiculous strategy work, then it's John McHutchison.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as we enter into the last 10 minutes of this 90-minute race that has seen Marnik Heister involved with Paul Crabb at the beginning for an absolute massive crash. Daniele Cascado chopping the nose of David Walters and then goes and crashes himself in no name, almost taking out Paul Clark there. Damien G also going into Blanchimont and having an exceptionally big crash. This race has kind of seen it all. We've seen 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops. People off track all over the place. There was a massive crash at the beginning. Paul LeMay, Michael LeMay, Alphonse Ruiz, Niag Gluskic, Graham Brown, Sandro Capella, Marnik Heister, Henning Haig, all involved in the incident. Byron Crawford having crashed as well throughout the race. So this race has kind of seen it all over the last 1 hour and 20 minutes. What do we think, though, at the end of this? You know, they've all been relatively clean. Surely they're all still friends, aren't they?
I have a feeling they are. Of course, first race of the season, everyone has to get used to each other, how everyone races, everyone has to get used to the car. But the thing that I'm taking away from this is that the gaps, at least at the front of the field, are bigger than we expected it to be. And I think with the drivers having more freedom in their stops, it has become, I think, more difficult to call what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think it definitely has. I think it's really mixed it up for an opening round here to see what these guys can do next time out at Interlagos. I think, you know, to have that mix of strategies there is going to be interesting, because I don't think that's going to be any easier on your tyres than Spa is. This is the battle with Damien G and Paul LeMay, down for 19th position. This is 7th and 8th in the AMS, having their own mixed up little battle. Alphonse Ruiz is currently under attack from Henning Haig. Again, 2 different classes. No real need for Ruiz to kind of go out of his way to fight this. He's got, you know, Gary Truby, who's about 20 seconds behind him currently next in class. So really, from Ruiz's point of view, he probably could and possibly should just let Haig go, I think, because there's no real need for him to be fighting it, is there?
Well, being so close to the end of the race, I think you rather want to fight it, or at least I would, even though I know I would be a lot slower, but I would just try it. As we're side by side through Blanchimont, is still on the outside. I think Ruiz has
we're through.
yielded there, and it's Haig through. Ruiz didn't fight it, but yeah, every overall position of course counts for me at least. But yeah, being in the lead of the AM class, it's difficult to call. It's difficult to call, really.
I wouldn't want to get myself involved. I don't think I'd need to at 6:43 and o'clock. You've got about basically 3 laps. I definitely would not want
now,
to
if I think about
get
it,
involved
me
in this.
neither.
Sorry?
Now, if I think about it, really, man, you're in the lead of your class. Why would you be bothered about positions that are not for your podium?
It still takes the same points as Nagel does.
Exactly.
You know, still takes the same points. There isn't a split point system. He still manages to take the maximum overall points he can get.
Yeah.
So from Ruiz's point of view, this late on, there's really no need to consistently
Exactly.
fight it. However, Paul LeMay and Damien G, has gone round.
Oh,
Oh, was there contact with Paul LeMay? That is going to be the question. Out of no name. Nope. All on your own, Damien G. Slight little love tap. Should be able to get the car going again. He does. You have to give it.
Luckily, I think no damage.
No, I think it was just basically love tap the wall. So nothing major from Damien G there himself. Unfortunately, he did take away his Paul LeMay battle. But we go back with Paul Crabb. Still leading Mike Bousson as these guys are coming in to probably about 3 laps remaining. So we'll keep an eye where the leader is. Yeah, the leader's going out of Marmody down into Rivage. So there could be about another 3 laps left, Dan.
Yeah, difficult to call really. Lap times are around the 2-minute 11 mark at the moment for the guys at the front of the field. Last lap time for Rudolf Nagel was a 2-minute 11.68, which is only 0.6 away from his actual fastest lap. So yeah, still good pace though on those old tires.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't seem to have had the drop off of Damien G being tracked down by Byron Crawford here. As we've said, we've obviously seen Damien G go off track. It's currently got Byron Crawford right up behind him in the Parmalee SR10. Damien G in the BSR livery teamed up with Gary Truby again this season. It's good to see that we've had a couple of the same teams stick where they're at currently. Problem with Byron Crawford is he seemed to not actually get any closer using the draft down camel. So, but he has been involved in a few incidents, so maybe he's got the drop off of power, but that seems to be a bit weird when he didn't close down as much. However, as these guys are coming down the hill, down into Rivage now, Truby lets Byron Crawford through. That's all I could really think about that one, Dan. It kind of seemed a little bit more simpler than it should have been.
Yeah, it looked like he just moved over for him and just let him pass, which I think is a sensible decision to make at the end of the day. If you know that you're not really faster, even though there are only 4 minutes left, you know you're not going to be able to fight it. Why would you really put up a fight and put your own race and the guy that's overtaking his race at risk?
Yeah, exactly. I'm very interested to see where we're at with off tracks here, because
I have got at the moment,
my count is well out. Must be way out here.
Yeah, I have got John McHutchinson. Oh no, he's not even the biggest one. I have got Daniel Sedgley on 86.
Yeah.
He would have been disqualified at this point, I think.
He would have been doing a lot of drive-throughs.
Yeah.
But look, this is the off-tracks we've got, guys, currently in our time in software. Byron Crawford's apparently got 67. Sedgley's got 89. I don't think we can rely on that, Dan, as interesting as right point information there, do you think?
I don't think it is, otherwise we would have seen John McHutchison, basically everyone except Nihat Glusic, down the pit lane numerous times, because Nihat only 6 off tracks. So if that would have been the case, I think he would have been a winner by a lap or 2, because everyone had to drive through pit lane several times.
Yeah, they would have been going in and out. Obviously, the off-track limit in the software has kind of gone a little bit Pete Tong, but we are going to be picking up the leader very shortly. He's heading down the backside of Blanchimont. Rudolf Nagel is going to be starting his final lap of the race, this time around with an overall 11-second lead over John McHutchinson in second place. And here we go. Here is Rudolf Nagel taking the white flag from Barney the flag bearer. The strongest right arm in iRacing, Dan, don't you think?
I absolutely agree with that. He has to wave the flag numerous times every day, and I do not want to be that man going to every race, flying over to every country, just to wave the flag for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be him either. However, Matheson does not look like he's had a good time as we can come out from behind the trees.
That looks like a man who is driving hot-headed.
Yeah, and fighting the car there. That did not look good from Matheson either. So for the poor team slow-mo driver. We've still got the interesting thing of Paul Crabb and Mike Buson. Mike's about a little bit further back. Oh, Damien G, what have you been up to this time? So we see Damien G. That's into Fagné. Oh, Damien. Okay, we managed to keep it going, so that was always good.
And managed to keep his position.
And kept his position, yeah. So Damien G there surviving in 21st place. Buson and Buson and Crabb here are still getting as close as they possibly can. Crabb's got back past Dozer. Buson's past Crabb. So there's been a few overtakes in with this pack of 3 cars here between Buson, Crabb and Dozer. So we'll keep an eye on how this one. Crabb's just let Dozer back through on the final lap of the race. Not quite sure.
Interesting one.
Yeah, but however, let's pick up our man, Rudolf Nagel, who is going to take the victory here this evening. 9-second gap, nice and chilled out, one from start to finish. There is Rudolf Nagel takes a round 1 victory here at Spa in the Radical Endurance race for the Radical Sim Racing Series round 1 done and dusted. John McHutchison comes across the line in second. Mike Buson, barring any incidents going down into the bus stop, should finish in third. Cascado and Gluskick have finished as well. They are 1 lap down currently on your screen. Truby was close to being lap there. He managed to survive just near enough on a 1:15 gap. So Truby has survived as well. Dozer there in 4th. Crabb 5th. Place is coming across the line, flashing frantically in 6th place. Daniel Sedgley's got to be gutted with his evening there, Dan. 2 times he went round on his own. So, and there you go, as Dan has just stepped away for a brief sec. Oh, no, you haven't. You are back.
Yeah, I am back. No, I never left. I muted myself once again.
Nice.
Like I always do. But I think Daniel Sedgley, I think if you take 20 or 10 seconds off his time, he would actually be quite high up this evening. So, yeah, must be gutted with himself.
Yeah, of course he's going to be, because he could have done so much better than where he was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but likewise for, I think, Taye and Haug. So a lot of drivers really not doing themselves justice for the pace they had this evening.
No, I think that's going to be the interesting thing. We are going to try and get some interviews with the drivers. So we'll see who does jump into the interview room, who fancies having a chat with us here. So we will bring you up the results. The results are in. So here we go. Here are the final results of the first Radical Endurance Round 1 live from Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium for the Radical Sim Racing Endurance League. Rudolf Nagel, it takes the victory. John McHutchison in second. Mike Buson third. Lucas Dozer in 4th. Paul Crabb 5th. Stephen Place 6th. Daniel Sedgley 7th. Matheson in 8th. Henning Haag in 9th. Alphonse Ruiz, leader of the AMs, takes the AM victory tonight in 10th place overall. David Waters in 11th. Ketil Larsen 12th. Gary Truby 13th. Daniele Cascado 14th. Nia Gluskick down in 15th. David Rollison 16th. Ivan Bramer 17th. And Guy Robinson is in 18th place. Paul LeMay down in 19th. Byron Crawford 20th. Damien G 21st. Michael LeMay 22nd. Taye in 23rd. Sergio Capella 24th, Paul Clark 25th, Graham Brown 26th, and Marnik Heister in 27th place. Well, that was a interesting one, wasn't it, really? For round one, Dan.
Yeah, lots of things to take away from it, really, especially after so many things have changed in the radical sim racing community and the radical sim racing endurance series, especially. So, yeah, I think two stops did not work. Could be different at Interlagos. But yeah, pit stops did not work, and gaps were bigger than I really expected them to be at the end of the day. I did not expect the top 13 to be the only ones within a lap. And I think that's also down to the drivers getting up to grips with the car, because it looks like a car that every driver has his hands full of.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the thing. It's a full-on challenge of a car, and
Exactly.
they've got to go away and have a good old think about what they're going to do. So, yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting over the length of the season. And as we say, we know this car eats tyres at the same time. So, you know, they're going to have to try and really weigh up what's going to be the best way to go about it, I think, and what's going to be happening after that for them, because obviously they don't want to keep going through 2-3 stoppers because they're just losing tyres all over the place.
Yeah. Well, maybe a two-stopper would have worked if maybe they didn't take fuel at the second stop. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they had quite that freedom to not take it. You know what I mean? I think we have seen them go underneath an hour, just on the hour mark, and they've lasted till the end. But whether or not the tyres would have lasted to the end, well, that's just a different kettle of fish almost. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something that they've got to go away and assess themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like I said, some really interesting things at the end of the day to take away from this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be the one thing for us. It doesn't look like, guys, we're going to get interviews in this week. We will. We have. We've got John McHutchison jumped into the booth, so let's have a quick chat with John. John, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good, James. Thanks. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, you're +6 on your grid slot. You know, started in 8th, got into 2nd. Not a bad run at all.
Yeah, there was an incident at turn 1 at the start. You know, so I had to go all the way around it. Got a black flag, got up straight. Had to slow down, and get another couple of black flags. Pull on, tried to kill me at one point. Eventful race, but good.
Yeah, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, about 9 or 10 cars involved in that beginning incident, John. And you managed to get away unscathed. I think going into the new season, John, you know, the field's got a lot stronger than last season. I think the level from these drivers and the practice and the commitment that they're going to have to give it is definitely going to be on point this year.
Yeah, the setups and the officials seem a bit better. But this is open setup, so we can use our own, which I'm happy about. You know, I can get the balance of the tyres the way I want them.
I think, John, to be honest, the tyres have played a massive part this evening. We've seen people on 2 stops. We've seen people on 3 stops. I think it's just been a tyre-eating factory here at Spa, and I think people are still trying to get used to the car itself because it seems to have played an absolutely massive part here tonight.
Well, both me and Rudolph didn't change tyres, and they came good towards the end. I had a sneaky feeling that once they wore down, they wouldn't get as hot. And I was pretty quick towards it. I think I almost did my fastest lap, but I was on 13x's instant, so I was taking it easy.
Yeah, I'm glad you said 13, John, because my timing software's got you on 77.
So it seems a bit right.
So I'm not quite sure, mate, what's going on there as well. So did you not change tyres at all through that whole race?
No, because
Oh.
the tires get changed after the fuel was in now, so you're losing about 30 seconds. And if you don't lose that on track, it's worth it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you got...
Cat's out the bag now.
Yeah, mate, don't tell everyone.
It's okay, no one listens.
Thanks, mate. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Oh, dear. Well, John, well done, mate. And as always, you've done an absolutely stellar job. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out tonight to?
Shout out to the Team Redline guys. We all done really well there. I think we got second, third, fourth, and sixth, I think.
Yeah, Paul.
So,
yeah, come in. Paul in fifth, Stephen in sixth.
Yeah, good run out. And shout out to you guys for the broadcast.
No worries, buddy. Well, I hope you enjoy it back. And we'll catch you in 2 weeks' time, John.
Yeah, thanks, James.
All right, we've got another one as well from Team Radline here. The one, the only, Mr. Mike Bousson in the booth. Mike, how are you?
Very well. We must stop meeting like this. People will talk.
I know, mate, but I'm not quite sure what we can do about it.
I don't know, stalking who?
Well, I was here first, Mike.
That's a fair comment.
You know what I mean? I was here first.
I'll let you have that one.
Thanks, mate. But then again, I suppose you were first in the other one. So, hey-ho,
Well,
what can we ask for? But listen, Mike, overall, third place, you got to be happy with that. You had a fairly somewhat incident-free race, I suppose, from our point of view. Didn't really see much of you, apart from the battle with your Team Radline guys towards the end of the race.
yeah, no, it went well, to be fair. Paul was very helpful and helped me out. Did the team thing because I was running out of fuel at quite a rate, so I sort of had to be a bit steady towards the end. My maths was a little bit off tonight, but yeah, good result I think for the team.
I sometimes have that as well. My maths are off.
Yeah, that's it. And I started falling off the track towards the end because I was there fiddling with so many knobs trying to work out whether I was going to do it or not, and just slid off the track a couple of times.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, though, mate, it's happened. How was you doing on off tracks?
Towards the last couple of laps, it was got a bit heavier just to try and sort of take out a bit of slide out of it and, minimise the risk.
Now, did you
Didn't do too bad.
Did you change tyres?
Yeah, took fuel and tyres sort of roughly midpoint. I don't think I would have got to the end, or it would have been risky, shall I say.
Well, yeah, your teammate didn't, no?
Stephen didn't, did he?
Well, John didn't either.
Yeah, but John's a legend, let's be fair. You know.
And neither did Rudolph.
All right, now you're making me feel bad. I should have tried.
You should have given it a go. You know what I mean? There's a philosophy. Do you
it's
not
so
have a
much
debrief,
downfall.
Mike? Do you not have a debrief and sit down and talk about it before you start? That'd be a no then.
I'm new. They give me advice, and I obviously don't listen hard enough.
Obviously, Mike's there in the background is the one with his earphones on while they're all talking strategy, eh, mate?
Yeah. I'm looking at it and I'm nodding and going to myself. I'm going, yep, sounds good. Then get on the track and I'll just go with what I know.
Yeah, that's always the best way, mate. 2 weeks' time in the Lagos, buddy. I love that circuit. I think it's going to be massive for this series. What do you reckon? You're gonna try a no tyre stop strategy?
I don't really know. Interlagos has been a bit tricky for me of late in the SR8. I've just been off the pace a little bit. But who knows with the SR10? I'll do some practice. Not turned the wheel in the SR10 on Interlagos yet, so I really don't know what to expect. But the practice.
Get your practice in there, buddy. Well done, Mike, on your third place. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you exit the booth?
Paul Crabb and the rest of the team.
Oh, you did exactly the same what John did.
Well, I sort of got something rehearsed because you sort of put me on the spot last time, so
well done
that's what you get.
That's what we get from eating twice a week.
That's it. There's only so much I've got in my repertoire at the moment.
All right, mate. Well, you better think of it, because I might see you again on Thursday.
Yeah.
But
you never know.
Never know. Right, there you go, Mike. You have a good one, buddy, and congrats on the 3rd place, mate.
Thank you very much. Catch you soon, boys.
See you later. Well, there we go, Dan. That is wrapping things up. Dan, one sentence from you about the racing this evening.
I don't think if I can wrap it up in one sentence. I would say amazing as always.
Okay, well done. There we go.
Very simple.
Well, much love for everybody who's jumped in chat. There's been so many people in today. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, guys, as well, tune in on Tuesday evening at 10 to 8. We've got the UK Sim Racers MX5 League on Tuesday. Then we go on to Wednesday as well. We've got the Next Gen GT3 Round 1. So from Fuji, so jump in for that one again. 7:30. Then on Thursday, we've got Radical Race Series here. That's on a Thursday evening at the same time. And then we return with the Radical Sim Racing for the Europe World Cup and the qualifiers and the Americas World Cup qualifiers. So you'll see me twice in one night. So jump in this week, guys. We've got things for everyone as well. But as you say, guys, as always, don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the bells for notification and give the videos a big old thumbs up if you're watching it live or if you're watching it back on replay. So much love to you. And as always, guys, from myself and Dan Peoples, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Take care.